With amazing driving performance and unmatched fuel consumption, your tank of gas goes a long way. If you don't believe us, get yourself a Creta. Ask about our 5 free payments, 3 years free insurance, or 3 years free petrol bonus. Hyundai, Creta makes everything better. Conditions apply. Whether you're buying your first or second car, a Hyundai Tucson is right for you. Hyundai Tucson is made with the toughest steel for super protection and has a large trunk space. Get a Hyundai Tucson and enjoy peace of mind and low maintenance costs. Ask about our 5 free payments, 3 years free insurance, or 3 years free petrol bonus. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J. Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
There are certain moments in life you'll cherish forever, like finding love, realizing your life is going to change forever, creating your dream home. These are your great moments, and helping you to achieve them is ours. Chris and Charles, powering great moments since 1992. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Tired of the high interest rates and the whole heap of loan payments every month? Take a debt consolidation loan from AIM to pay credit card bills and all other high interest rate loans from other institutions. Make one low monthly payment to AIM and take home some extra money in your pocket. That's financial freedom. One loan, one low payment. More money in your pocket. Call AIM today to lower your loan payment. And remember, you won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
All right, guys, the news is in. You are loving MTM on CVM.
And for those who don't know, we are the Mitchells. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Tammy.
And you can come along with us on our journey every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Right here, you can see it happening on CVM TV.
Yeah, MTM on CVM.
See it happen, man. CVM man. MTM man. CVM man. See it happen, man. CVM man.
The new KFC Chizza Zinger. Crispy, spicy chicken topped with marinara sauce, mozzarella cheese, and pepperoni in a brioche bun. Available for a limited time. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Ray and Never, feel we culture, yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it!
I make we all a one bar, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel we country. Rear rum, it have to come with we.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time.
I feel we culture. Make we show ya. Jamaican culture.
Ray and Nephew, overproof, and we just have to do it to the culture.
Years are older to drink responsibly.
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM+. Brought to you by
KFC, J. Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Hello and welcome back to CVM's Eye on Beryl coverage. We are giving you live updates. That's a shot of the Kingston city you're looking at right now. In the distance is what is supposed to be Beverly Hills.
I like how you said that, Andrew, because it is supposed to be, from my knowledge, that is not even, I don't know which hills that is. I'm not seeing any hills.
Could have been any one of the hills
Right.
in and around the city.
Well, we have now joining us the manager of communications at the National Works Agency, Mr. Stephen Shaw. He's been waiting on the other end of this break for us to return. Welcome, Mr. Shaw.
Hi, good afternoon.
Right. Mr. Shaw, our viewers are desperate to find out what's been happening across the country, if there are spaces that have been compromised and the nature of the compromise.
So we are experiencing rain and wind right across the country at this time. Earlier today, we would have been experiencing most of the conditions associated with this hurricane between St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, and sections of St. Thomas. But as of now, when I'm speaking to you, I can say that all parishes are being impacted at this time. We have a number of our roads that are being impacted, either being reduced to single lane or they have been fully blocked. And so we, at this time, remind persons that they should exercise extreme caution. Those persons who are exempt to be allowed onto the roads at this time.
Right. Mr. Shaw, our reporter went into St. Thomas earlier, and we understand that the Roselle roadside area, that vicinity, there was quite a bit of rubble. What can you tell us about that space going into the St. Thomas and Portland parishes?
All right, so I can confirm that we did have some wave action that caused some debris to be lodged onto the road in Roselle. The important thing for us is that we have equipment on standby. We have equipment and personnel on standby to treat with that situation as soon as it is safe to do so. We have done a lot of work in that space in terms of building out the resilience in that area. A lot of revetment work had been done prior to the S-chip, the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, and since we have started executing that particular project, we have done additional work in this space. So the storm surges that we have seen associated with the hurricane would have caused the debris to be thrown onto the road. We have a similar situation in Portland along the Long Bay Road.
Yes.
And we also have a similar situation on a section of the road from the airport roundabout heading towards Port Royal.
Well, is it safe, therefore, to assume that the completion of that stretch of the highway will therefore be delayed as a result of this disaster?
Yeah, say that again?
Is it safe to assume then, I don't want to, but I'm asking if it's safe to declare that there may be some delays given the nature of this disaster to the highway?
Well, delays in terms of using the roadway?
In terms of the completion of the road network?
No, I mean, it's too early to say that. We don't expect any major dislocations. Outside of losing today and possibly tomorrow, which is time that can be made up, I really don't foresee anything major beyond that.
Okay, and the integrity of the infrastructure remains intact, to your knowledge?
Well, as far as the information goes up to now, we don't have any report of anything major happening outside, as I said before, of some landslides, fallen trees, and some inundation. That's pretty much what we have experienced to now.
What can you tell us about the East rural aspect of St. Andrew? We've been hearing quite a bit of things happening up that side, land slippage, etc.
Well, in rural St. Andrew generally, that is usually what the challenge is, because of the soil type and the topography of the area. We generally have to respond to situations of fallen trees and landslides and rock falls and so on. And so there's no surprise there. What we have done is to put our partners or equipment owners / operators on standby, and as soon as it is safe for them to respond, then we will ensure that the appropriate response is in place.
Yeah, Mr. Shaw, I have a listener and a viewer on our YouTube page asking for an update on the latest in Manchester.
We continue to have rainfall in Manchester as well. The only adverse report that we would have gotten up to now about Manchester has to do with the Winston Jones Highway, where some trees were impacted that corridor.
In Trelawney, we've been hearing about intense rainfall from as far back as last night, sometime, heading into early morning. And I understand that was sustained in especially sections of southern Trelawney. Do you know what impact, if any, has been made or had in that space?
Well, I'm aware that, it has been raining in this space since last night. Intermittent showers, really. I have not gotten any reports adverse to the return of the road network in this space. I know that there's a communication problem, because I believe, because I've tried reaching out to persons in this space, being that that's where I'm from. And I'm aware that there's a problem in terms of the communication via telephone. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was going to say, we heard the Prime Minister just now at a press briefing prioritizing fixing roads in the aftermath of our Hurricane Beryl. I wanted to find out from you, Mr. Shaw, what is the first order of business for the agency coming in the post-hurricane period?
Well, we have to make sure that persons are able to move about, especially as it relates to critical installation. So it's access to the airport, access to the hospital, to JPS installations, to installations of the National Water Commission. These are crucial, and we'll have to ensure that there is access to these installations. The JPS, we have had reports of a number of areas being impacted by fallen light poles. So this is something that we'll have to treat with in terms of cutting trees where trees were the source of the poles coming down. And where that is not the case, I'm sure the JPS will treat with whatever it is. But we are part of a joined up response mechanism, and we know our role in a lot of instances is to move first.
Do you know of what is taking place in some of the southern spaces? We would have heard that the hurricane would most impact our southern coast, and therefore some of the southern parishes like Clarendon. We saw fisherfolk preparing well in advance. And so do you know of any incidents in those spaces?
No, I'm not aware of anything to date. No information has come forward in respect of those areas. I believe that right now is when persons are experiencing the effects or impact of the system and the outer bands, that is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mr. Shaw, there is so much work already to be done, and it's just the start of the hurricane season. So I'm sure we'll probably be having this conversation before the end of the period at some other time. But are you sufficiently resourced, and what's the position your team is taking, especially in the aftermath of Beryl?
Well, we started the mitigation program. We still have some work to do in respect of the program. We still have some work to do in respect of the targeted locations, and we will try and get those things treated with as quickly as possible after this event, and see how best we can prepare for the next.
Any final thoughts before you leave us?
Well, just to take the person, we are trying to ensure that the island is open for business in a shorter time as possible. And open for business for us means that persons are able to traverse our corridors in the shortest time possible. And that's why we have put some plans in place, and we are quite hopeful that those plans, which include having heavy equipment moving into the different spaces as soon as it is safe to do so, and opening roads that are left impassable, as well as removing, in terms of cutting off trees, removing of landslips, and soon after those things are done, where it is that additional resources are required to complete the exercise, we will do the necessary reports, tender those to our parent ministry, and see what flows from that.
All right. Thank you so much. That's Stephen Shaw. He is the Manager of Communications and Customer Service at the National Works Agency. Critical team, especially now when we are facing the brunt of a hurricane. Well, all the best to you and your team as you continue to safeguard the nation. And we've been giving the numbers for people to call us to tell us what's happening, where they are at. And we are just going to remind you of those numbers once more. Andrew, you are the numbers man.
Yes, so the number to call are 1-876 931 6193. So be sure to give us a call, share your thoughts, and share your comments about what's happening in your area, what you have seen happening in your area. So we'd love to hear what's happening there.
From where you are, because while we have our teams out there, we also have to take their safety into consideration, even as we try to give you the information. But if you see something and you can say something to us, feel free absolutely to give us a call at our numbers.
The conversation is ongoing on social media with Ramon Trowers saying, I don't know, but Ivan was way rampant and it came at night, lasted 3 days.
It did.
This one is calm.
That's
Hope it stayed that way though.
Yes, it's 2004.
Yeah, right. And we also have Nika Muirhead saying, I'm praying for God mercy on our country, Jamaica. So keep the conversation, of course, going online as we weather the storm, as Nika gets ready to quiz me.
Well, Andrew, we have been going through this list for the 21st century hurricanes that we've experienced here in Jamaica, and we're now at 2007. Which storm did we face? I'm not giving you this answer. I tell him, don't tell him.
I won't say storm. I probably glimpsed your script. I won't say I probably saw Nicole.
It's a good thing. You see, you are the Pitney who copied the wrong thing.
Okay.
Because this is Hurricane Dean.
Hurricane Dean, of course.
Hurricane Dean. So you missed it. Nicole is after Dean.
Nicole is after.
So that, you're not
Ask me again. Ask me again.
No. But Hurricane Dean was on August 19, 2007. And as we're seeing here, I'm going to share my book with you because you're copying my notes anyway and you get it wrong still. So it was the first major hurricane and the first Category 5 of the Atlantic season in 2007.
Wow.
And it was the most intense since Hurricane Wilma of 2005.
Remember Hurricane Wilma? Yeah, we spoke about Hurricane Wilma.
Why don't have these names though?
Yeah.
Wilma. People still naming their children that? Anyway, fun and joke aside. So Dean was the most intense since Wilma and the 9th most intense Atlantic hurricane ever recorded.
Yeah.
It was also the 3rd most intense to ever hit landfall at the time, and 4 lives were lost. 500 people were injured. 500 people. I believe we are still getting some glimpses now of where is that?
That's it. That's even worse.
I believe that must be Dean. That must have. What is this? This could not be Kingston today.
That's Kingston.
Jamaica,
currently.
We looked at Kingston and we could see Kingston.
So that's our sky cam that we've been looking at since this morning.
Yes.
It's fair and safe.
One of the worst hit again.
Areas in this hurricane.
Boy, history doesn't favor what's happening over there in Portland Cottage. If we talk, I love the energy too, Navardo.
Yeah.
So Navardo, what's happening where you are at?
Well, I just regular read. Earlier, I would come here watching a feed for morning, and I do good things there.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Navardo.
So I'm watching a feed. Somebody go outside now. Just to come from Reddy's Road. After done up in bridges, Reddy's Road Bridge. Right now, a big ball game I go on right at the middle of the road.
But Navardo, you shouldn't have been.
You are rat out the people and them, and now the police are gonna head down there. Yikes! We're in the middle of a curfew, in the middle of a hurricane.
Navardo, you said it's a lot of rain where you are. Are you seeing flood waters in and around any area in your community?
Believe me, the Gully, so the water in the Gully now might be about 4 feet high.
The Gully was cleaned, Navardo? It was cleaned prior to the storm?
No, man, everything washed out. Everything. I have a lot of rubbish in there, but they wash out now. It's clean.
So, Navardo, you and your residents, your friends in that community, you can do something to help stem the whole pollution in the Gully. Because that is one of the problems we're having in Navardo. People dumping all sorts of things in the Gully, and then when storms like these come, we run the risk of losing lives.
No, we know that Jamaica people is very nasty.
Okay.
You understand? It's like how the Gully clean out. Just wait till tomorrow when the rain stop falling. Every rubbish throw back in the Gully. I don't know why them do it.
I understand. So this is the section of the Gully that we are speaking about. This is a sandy Gully, the section adjacent
looking
to the
towards Reddy's
Primary School.
All right, if you're right, I don't know in the Gully here, when I drive over the Gully, because straight back down to the other bridge, and I catch up at bridge on the top.
Yes.
The one you always drive through the Gully?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, man. The whole of the people straight, they clean down straight, but they go to break. They break right across under the bridge.
Say that again? The Gully is broken. Oh.
Piece of the Gully lift up.
Wow.
The slab inside the mini Gully lift.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Wow, Navardo, well, thank you for giving us that update. We just spoke with Stephen Shaw from the National Works Agency. That's something that, of course, his team is going to have to look into
that.
And address as quickly as possible, because that's one of the main thoroughfares in the Kingston area. So, Navardo, how are you planning to recoup and recover coming out of Hurricane Beryl?
No, man, I'm good man. I'm a builder now.
Oh.
I believe in a slab roof. My house has slab, and it's waterproof with membrane, so I don't know. Me not have no problem with water. No problem. Man, dry.
Navardo,
Navardo has a
you
waterproof
need to pay
roof.
for advertising right now because you just come pitch your skills or the fact that you know how to build waterproof houses and you have a roof. Listen, Navardo.
You have something them call name membrane. You when you put it on the roof, then they give you 30-year lifespan. So you say when you put it on good, it never leak.
Wow. Okay.
I'm
okay.
learning. Thank you
learning.
for that, Navardo. And I don't know, is there anyone in your community who is currently,
been evacuated?
No, man, we good, man. No, all of them are one family now. We good, man. We some little tree about the place, so we just cut them lower. No, man, we good, man. Nobody has no problem. We have a whole heap of bird food on the road and eat, so we good.
Yeah, man. Navardo sounds irie. You sound irie, yes. Navardo.
So the football match still going on, Navardo?
Repeat that?
Is the football match still going on?
No, me come inside now. Me come inside of the house now.
Oh, so you don't have the latest on the match?
So you missed out on the final score. We're disappointed in you, Navardo. But all right.
I'm going to say I can't find on the Instagram something and send some picture. I'm going to say I can't find on the Instagram something.
All right, thank you so much. You take care of yourself.
Same too, man. I'm doing a good thing still.
All right, and stay safe, Navardo.
All right, we seem to be getting more images soon as well from sections of the corporate area. Oh no, we're going into Clarendon, not the corporate area, straight out to Curlin Brown, who is still in Clarendon. Curlin, are you with us?
Interview the mayor, and it was as if all hell broke loose.
I have pictures of trees falling in houses. I know that's some challenge in the hill, the northern section of the parish. Member of Parliament Dwight Sibley's, who I've been in touch with also, several persons in that area has to be brought into shelters also.
You want to identify the areas?
You're talking about Kellett, you're talking about Brandon Hill, you're talking about Spalding. I would have got some calls from those areas. Thus far, we've been getting response from the persons on the Rocky Point, the Portland Cottage area, Lionel Town, but more so Portland Cottage and Rocky Point. Our last check showing us having 170 odd persons in those shelters in that area. And I'm happy that they have responded to the call, because we know how dangerous this could be. I'm in dialogue, in touch with the Member of Parliament, Mr. Charles, who is on the ground there. And so I am hoping that we'll be able to ride out this storm.
Yeah, thank you so much, Curlin, for bringing us that report from Clarendon. Did you see the palm tree, Nika?
I tried not to see it.
In the road, fully leveled and in the road. Also while you were speaking to Mr. Shaw from the NWA, we saw quite a few images of downed trees as well in the roadway. It's interesting what Navardo shared with us about
the game.
I don't know. No, about the crack in the bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that of course, we're gonna have to look back at, and
absolutely something to track
investigate as well
after the storm.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna go back to this, I know we just heard from the Maypen mayor, and so just to tell you that Hurricane Dean from 2007. So Clarendon and Maypen been getting the battering. Majority of the damage from Dean was done to Clarendon, with 56% of the parish being damaged. And that was followed by St. Catherine and Kingston and St. Andrew.
Yeah.
Let me give you the numbers. I know you like numbers.
Love it.
So 700 million in damages to education sector and 168 million for health. That's what was done by Dean. And then the total, Jamaica, $23.8 billion in total. That was what was eked out by Hurricane Dean for that disaster in 2007.
And we can't get over the fact, Nika, that is money that could have been
chunk of money that could go somewhere else.
Elsewhere. And that's the kind of economic impact that these hurricanes and devastating weather events have on our island nation.
Something else I'm wondering if perhaps we will be able to get more of later on is certainly what is happening in the western end of the island as it moves farther away from us, because it's going to go the west.
Further away from the east and
into the west.
Heads west.
Yes.
So we're imploring our listeners and
we do have
viewers.
Correspondents in St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, all of that western section of the country we have covered. And those reports will be coming in. Of course, they are not seeking to compromise their safety, but we are doing as close to it as imaginarily possible.
Yeah, and also you can call in. Give us an update about what you are hearing, what you are feeling, what you are sensing.
Can I do the numbers?
In your area.
May I?
Yes, please, go ahead.
All right, so the number to call, 876-931-6193. Call us.
Call us and
what are you waiting for?
Tell us what's going on in your
community.
So as we continue to provide live updates, the very latest, and
Hurricane
Beryl and what's happening on the ground across the parishes in Jamaica.
All right, let me guess this one. I'm not guessing it, actually. Somebody is in my head telling me this is the intersection of West Kings House Road and Constant Spring Road. I feel brilliant and not so brilliant.
Just outside of the Ministry of Justice, that building.
Yes, that's the furniture store, the Globe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that famous eyesore in the in the middle of the city.
Said that?
Yeah, but you can see, Nika, that it's raining. It's raining heavily, and of course, Navardo also just.
The lens.
This is not very far away from where Navardo is.
It's not?
No, because Navardo was along Redill's Road, in the vicinity of Casha Park. He was saying.
Oh.
Yes, so this is not too far away.
Casha Park is just a little further down from
That's
here.
correct. That's correct.
My goodness.
So Beryl is in fact still impacting and will continue to impact the island up
until
to
about 8 o'clock?
8 p.m.
Yeah.
As per the notice from the Met Service. So we continue to monitor and we will be with you. We are going nowhere. Anytime soon. We are riding out the storm with you, Jamaica. And of course, we will continue to provide live updates every hour, on the hour, every minute even, and every second as we will be here.
And I'll continue to quiz Andrew, and I'll continue to ensure that he gets no further points.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
You copied for this one, so I'm going to ask you another one. So 2008 was Tropical Storm Nicole, and it says here that roughly 40% of the population was without power after the storm.
Wow, that's almost half.
13 people were dead. It says rainfall measurements showed over 100 millimeters of rain over a 12-hour period. And Sandy Gully near Ligony, the Sandy Gully that we've been showing you and telling you so much about, it wasn't always just a popular space. It's very infamous. It was infamous over the years. It's in St. Andrew, and they said that felt the greatest impact. I'm not going too deep into this because Andrew copied off my paper.
Well, it's not copying if it was laying right there. We now have another caller calling from all the way up north in Canada. Francis is on the line. Hello, Francis.
Hello.
Thank you so much for calling from Canada. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing here as we show you what's happening in Kingston and across the island?
Well, I'm watching, I think that is Kingston foggy.
It is just outside CVM, a little further up on Constant Spring Road.
Yeah, with Constant, by that gully.
Yes,
exactly.
That infamous gully.
Yeah. That's always, when rain is falling, that is always a river.
Yes.
My goodness. But you can imagine what it would be like if we didn't have that massive gully. Miss Francis, you can imagine?
Channel the water away from residential and
this would be
business
going
spaces.
on the roadway and in your homes and all of that, you know, Jamaica.
I know. When I was there, I remember it was flooding, and a lady with her daughter in her car drove across, and she was washed away.
My goodness.
Wow.
That's tragic.
Wow. Yeah.
That's tragic. That was which hurricane? Or it wasn't a hurricane?
No, it wasn't a hurricane. It was just raining.
It was, but it does get that serious in Kingston, Nika.
Sometimes.
Sometimes we've definitely seen that.
Have I seen anything like that in recent years? I don't know.
I think recently we saw
Mostly
some
gridlock.
heavy rains.
We see a lot of gridlock when it rains, but not this type of, you know, death and mayhem.
Yeah. So Francis.
Well, I am communicating with my family in your phone, and I'm watching you on CVM.
Absolutely. Where else?
Thank you for tuning in, Francis, as we show you what's happening and we keep our eye on Beryl. I can tell you, Francis, we're sitting in studio and I can almost hear what's happening outside.
Trust me, CVM is big enough for you to not really hear anything that's going on outside.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're hearing.
I'm looking at it now. It's bigger.
Yes.
But in Jamaica, my pet name is Edna.
Oh, Miss Edna.
Oh, Miss Edna.
Look at that.
Didn't we have a hurricane called Edna at some point?
You heard Wilma. You heard others, and some of them had no names.
Yeah. So.
Some of them had no names.
Thank you for keeping us in your thoughts, Francis.
Is there anyone here you wanted to say hello to while they go through this storm?
I am watching.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you for calling.
I was just about to ask her if she remembered the worst hurricane she faced here, but she's ready to leave. So you would take care, Miss Edna?
Hurricane Dennis.
What?
Hurricane Dennis.
Let me look up Hurricane Dennis. Let me see what Dennis did.
No, I was up here when Hurricane Dennis was going on, but there was one before Dennis.
Oh.
While I was there. Yeah.
Must have been
Gilbert, of course,
Yes.
the infamous leveler.
Notorious Gilbert, wanted Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert didn't spare much of Jamaica, it seems. History never forgets Gilbert.
Yeah, and will
I
never.
was living there at that time in Winter Town.
And what was it like for you? How did you prepare at the time?
Well, you know what? I was standing on the veranda looking through the grill and watching everything that was going on. Yeah.
You were a child at the time?
Pardon?
You don't seem like you were a child at the time.
No, right now, Monday I was 76 years old.
Felicitaciones. Congratulations.
Happy belated birthday, Francis.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It would be a blessing if I were to age to that point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're chopping up now.
Okay, all right. We'll allow you to go, Miss Edna, but thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you so much again.
All right. Have a
Take
good
care.
day. Boy, Nika, we're really getting the calls from the diaspora.
We are.
Persons are in fact paying attention to what is happening with Hurricane Beryl as
and what CVM has been doing, because this takes planning and preparation, of course.
Absolutely. You and I know all too well about all the work that goes into it.
Behind the scenes. It's not just us. So we are just the faces of the newsroom and the production teams. We have some cameramen sitting in here from morning.
From morning,
and around the control room is probably going haywire, but you don't hear any complaints because we're excited to get the news out to you.
Right, and to get you factual information, accurate information, and to get it first so that you can see it happen. So that satellite that we're looking at now is live.
Right above us.
Of where?
Right there on us, I'd say.
I'd say Hurricane Beryl is
moving closer out west now.
It is moving. I would have loved to have seen it a little bit closer, but of course we're seeing it's moving at 220 kilometers per hour. And of course it's sticking to that projected trajectory that the Met Service had predicted.
Yes.
It is in fact following that. So, you know, a lot of Jamaicans were just like, oh, no, it's going to turn. It's going to go another direction.
Away.
Oh, well, it did not.
Oh, that's the closer shot.
That's the closer shot. So we can see.
I still can't see us. We're barely there.
It's the eye is now about 75%.
Yes. Still
across
south.
into the south of the island, as we can see there. So
we're still in the red zone.
Of course, and we will continue to be in the red zone
for a little while longer.
For a few more hours.
Notice that the entire Caribbean is wrapped in that white layer of its outer bands.
Its outer bands.
Cuba getting some of this. We're talking about, we're looking
down into
the Cayman Islands right there to the west of us, northwest of us.
That's correct. That's correct.
They are just, boy, it's going to be rough.
We spoke with someone from Cayman who was basically saying they're experiencing what we experienced yesterday, which was the calm before the storm. So we are definitely seeing where things are happening with Hurricane Beryl. We talk about the outer bands. We're looking at Central America as well as South America. I understand we have.
It seems to go off into the Gulf. Is that the Yucatan Peninsula today? It goes into the green zone right around there.
We have a caller on the phone, Nika. Sorry to interrupt you,
that's so fine.
Martin from Spanish Town. Martin, we can hear you, my brother. Go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we get a lot of breeze and rain, but like a couple trees break down, but no major damage.
Which section of Spanish Town are you in, Martin?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yes, I'm asking which section of Spanish Town would you say your community is?
Large span outside of this area.
Martin, I'm gonna ask you to mute your television or to turn it down a bit.
Yeah, I remote from there.
Right. Go ahead, Nico.
So Martin, what was preparation for you and your family members like preparing for this one?
You don't know, we get some food stuff, like thin stuff, dry stuff, and a lot of water. And we get water and juice.
Okay.
And then we have the Delco. So we get
you have your Delco?
Yeah. So right now, light done, so we're running the Delco now. So we're watching TV, watching the program.
Yes, and if you did miss us on TV itself, you could try and find us on social media because we're also
on
live
YouTube,
streaming.
We are live streaming.
I was watching it this morning.
Because we are giving you no chance to feel alone in this storm.
We are keeping your company.
Absolutely. And keeping an eye on Beryl. We're keeping an eye on bothersome Beryl.
Right. But as far as what I see, God love Jamaica, man. So you find out, really and truly, we don't have to get no big hit.
I know that's the narrative, and I think that's why we've become so nonchalant, Martin, when it comes to preparing and really cementing ourselves in getting things done ahead of a disaster of this magnitude. Because we're always just thinking, we'll be saved. So the people in Portmore will always say, we not move. People in Hellshire going to say, them going to have to come take we out with helicopter.
Yeah, that I realized last night I was watching the news, a lady from over on one of the islands here, or the Rockies, that she have a shop out there, and said she's not leaving.
Yeah.
She's not leaving, and that is very bad.
And so the authorities, as you've been watching and listening to us talk to the different authorities, they're having difficulties getting persons
the evacuation plan to work.
Yeah, because persons.
Yeah.
I can tell you, if the curfew was not in effect, we would have been hearing of some tragedies that are man-made.
Yeah. So Martin, I'm trying to get an understanding of where your mindset was before Hurricane Beryl started to affect the island. Were you thinking that this was going to happen for real, or were you one of those persons saying skeptical and thinking that the hurricane was going to change paths?
No, man, honestly, I was worried, man, because I remember when I was around 10 or 11, I experienced Gilbert, and it was the worst hurricane I experienced. So definitely when I hear about this one, I definitely experienced about much of them. I was wondering the country would I get back, set back again to get back to COVID. So I wonder when I get here, how we could manage that disaster.
Yeah, Nika, if we were keeping score for all the persons we've spoken
who said Gilbert was the worst.
Who said Gilbert was the worst?
No, I can't tell you, man. It's the worst.
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
Let me just share something with you, because we were talking about the hurricanes that we've experienced over the period of recorded history, and Gilbert features heavily on the list.
Yeah,
hardest hit were the nation's houses, with an estimated 1/5 of the total houses in Jamaica either wrecked or severely damaged. So your house was destroyed in Gilbert?
Yeah, damage.
Wow.
So it must drive some amount of fear into you, especially when you hear about all the wreck that this one left in the aftermath.
Of the other countries in the Eastern Caribbean. Yeah.
So what is it that you would most want to share with the people of Jamaica and who are watching all around the world at this time as you face Beryl here in Jamaica?
Well, honestly, we must believe in God, and that love Jamaica. It's love everywhere, but Jamaica especially. That love Jamaica, I understand, because so many things are happening, and every time when a storm or anything in hurricane in Jamaica. So what I would just say is definitely put on the website nice. And if that disaster is coming like this, we just sit here and just unite each other and just, but I wait and say, boy, God love Jamaica, so not just sit here.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Martin. Thank you so much for sharing that with the nation, and thank you for your viewership and for calling in and sharing your thoughts and experiences with us. Okay, be safe now, and take care of your family and be safe.
Yeah, cool.
Right. So.
All right, mate.
Not you, Mr. Martin, but I thank you so much. Keep watching, certainly. Andrew.
Yeah.
We are looking at some live situations on screen.
Yeah, this is live. This is Beryl live as she is moving toward the west and heading directly, it would seem, for the Cayman Islands.
Well, just shy of the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, just a little bit to the south.
In fact, it's moving further. It's a wider margin than when it came closer to us.
That's correct, but because it's such a massive system.
Yes, that is it.
It's.
Notice Jamaica. You see that so-called pretty pink yellow
area? Yes, Jamaica. All of Jamaica is getting that right now.
All of that.
So that explains Nika.
And the visibility that we're having lessening. It's because of those big,
of that
fluffy,
area there in the middle.
Things as well. I'm imagining that I'm seeing some of that on the camera.
So this is the latest live update on what Beryl is looking like. We are bringing that to you, Jamaica, as we are keeping our eye on Beryl, and we can see the eye of Beryl,
right,
just to the south of Jamaica, and of course we are feeling the brunt of it across the nation. I mean, you can see the country is entirely engulfed.
Yes.
In what?
And it's all behind us. It's all behind us, Andrew.
Yes.
So it's a bigger picture for the viewers to see, to get a greater understanding as to where we are positioned and where this little rolling dot is going.
Yeah. Much to a positive thing is that it appears Beryl is in fact moving
Yes.
I know earlier we were like, Beryl, you're not moving
Beryl wasn't
fast
Beryl
enough.
gave me confused energy.
Yeah.
It was up, down, in, out. I'm not sure. Am I going there? Am I going straight? Am I going south? Beryl, figure it out.
Beryl certainly did not miss us, though.
No, she
did not miss us. She definitely
decided
came.
on that.
She appeared to have lingered or slowed down for a while. That's not official. I'm not certain, but it definitely appeared that way. And this is outside again. The images we're seeing, right, going towards Washington Boulevard on Dunrobbing Road is what we're seeing here. And of course, Nika.
This is unbelievable. If I never traversed these roadways before now,
you'd never be able to tell.
I'd never be able to tell.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who uses that thoroughfare quite often.
Yeah, I mean, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it is.
From where we
Much of my life
now
takes place on that stretch into this area. So imagine when you cannot even see the bridge.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
I don't even know what I'm seeing right now.
What you're seeing is Beryl.
Well, yes, pardon me, Beryl. Pardon me.
I'm seeing some lights off
just
further off,
down.
That might be somebody like Martin who said he was using his Delco.
Yes.
I haven't heard that word in a while, you know.
Martin, I've heard a few words that I haven't heard in a while. Since this Beryl situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you are looking, Jamaica, at live coverage.
It's the
same shot along Dunrobbing Road and Avenue in Kingston, Jamaica. We are giving it to you as it is happening.
The only thing moving, Andrew, is this very storm. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
I don't see a vehicle. I don't see a person. The only thing moving is the wind and the rain. But it's a good place for us to take a pause and come right back to you after this brief break. Stay tuned to CVM TV.
Cheese balls, we are crunch on a cheese balls. Daddy little big double cheese balls. Sunshine snack cheese balls. Grab a sunshine snack cheese balls. Some cheese in every bite, flavor in every crunch. Extra cheese, we love it so much. Love cheese in every bite. Grab a sunshine double cheese balls. We are crunch on a cheese ball. Daddy little big double cheese balls. Sunshine snack cheese balls. Flavor in every crunch. Grab a sunshine snacks cheese puffs today. Enough cheese, enough flavor.
Winners 75-inch smart TV paired with sound bars that they get them away. Samsung Galaxy smartphone a day. S24 day. Plus 3 grand prize when I get money for splash. $1 million each in a big money cash. Yeah.
Switch to Flow or activate any unlimited prepaid plan or pay a yard and road bill on time and you'll pull for chances to win.
Welcome to the ZZ Lottery Draw for 4:55 p.m. Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. The one-drop winning number is 12. The hat-trick winning numbers are 4, 6, 3. The four-play winning numbers are 0, 8, 0, 6. The fireball is white. Thank you for playing with Izizi.
From a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of the free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM Plus. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure.
Listen to me, Trevor Martin. I don't want you to gamble with my life or the lives of our children.
Royal Palm Estate is on CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers and Cooking with Love. And you're tuned in right now on CVM TV. Watch it. We're going to go crazy in the kitchen. Check it out.
Yeah, sister, the man a big chef, you know.
Boy, I'm a try a little thing when I'm ready, you know. Worldly.
You are watching CVM TV's live coverage of us tracking Hurricane Beryl. We're calling it Eye on Beryl. So see it happen on CVM TV as
Absolutely.
we continue to keep an eye on Beryl.
On Beryl. See what I did there? My eye. Keeping our eye on Beryl.
Corny much.
All right, so we have a caller on the phone calling out of Miami. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, how are you, sir? How is everything here in Jamaica?
Well, you know, we could have been better, but we're not complaining.
No, we cannot.
Well, you know something. My house, I've been with the TV and TV, all of the TV stations in Jamaica for the past 24 hours to make sure that I know what's happening in Jamaica. And, you know, I came out work at about 12 o'clock today. And, you know, I've been on the TV and TV watching every move to see exactly what's happening.
You're a smart man.
I'm going to put in the longest time to really to get through to, you know, to see what's happening. But I don't hear anything from my microphone where I'm from, in St. James. I'm from right beside the William Road on the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything from the western part of Jamaica. So any information from that area?
Well, earlier we had some images coming out of Montego Bay earlier. We were showing where it was windy in Montego Bay and in
especially
parts
in the Coral
of St.
Springs
James, the Coral
area.
Springs area. So I mean, we do have correspondence as you know, as you've been paying attention across the island, and so. That's as much as we can tell you right now. Of course, we have Jamaicans watching from all across the island. So if you continue to listen and stay tuned, I'm sure someone will give you an update about what's happening in St. James.
But I've also put in a special request for you, Duke of Earl, from our St. James correspondent, just for a quick roundup of sorts, if he could tell us what is going on down there. Of course, he covers not just St. James, but also Trelawney, which is next door to St. James.
Yeah.
And we are intent on giving you much more information. This looks like a section of St. James.
This
is St. James. So see, we did it for you.
We're looking at some of the images. So you're looking
at some of the images from earlier today in St. James.
In St. James.
You can see no signs. Evidently,
there are no pedestrians, except for someone
flooding or anything.
Yeah, but
the streets are bare. This is not the St. James that we know.
Any major damage to any part of the island so far?
Outside of the eastern parishes, predominantly Portland, where we saw some road blockage from trees and landslides, and perhaps in sections of St. Thomas,
a bit of flooding
there was a bit of flooding and uprooting of trees as well. Nothing severe quite yet. We know that in Clarendon, the people there were anticipating the worst of it, but we still haven't heard anything that would suggest they are suffering immensely.
So, Duke of Earl, if you are seeing the images now, we are showing you St. James and what is happening.
That is up by, I think that is up Brandon Hill.
West.
That is
this is out by
Brandon Hill.
That's correct.
Brandon Hill area.
The Sangster International Airport.
Yeah.
We're back in the town. I know this area.
Right.
When I traversed these roads.
I went to school at neighborhood. I went to school in that neighborhood.
There.
You did?
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
The residents of Jamaica, they are here today So the rules set up by the government that they should go to shelters and prepare themselves.
Some of them are defiant. Some of them are saying they're not leaving their prized homes and possessions because they fear looting, the inconvenience, and other things. And some of them just simply didn't feel that this hurricane was going to pack as bad a punch as it seemed.
So they refused to move, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, but generally,
well, the reason why I'm asking this question, I do the same work like you here, so I want to find out that when I go on later on, I can say, well, and I speak to some people, and this is what I'm hearing. So far as you're concerned, the country is doing well so far. You don't know what might happen later on. Am I correct?
That is very correct.
That is correct. A full assessment, of course, Duke of Earl, must be done after the hurricane to truly get a picture of the impact that Hurricane Beryl had on our little rock.
This looks to be just
Jimmy
on
Cliff
the
Boulevard.
bottom, yes. We call that the bottom road. The hit strip heading down to Buccaneer Beach. This is it?
And Pelican Grill.
Yes, correct.
So you remember it vividly, man, because Pelican Bar and Grill is supposed to be on the right side.
I am in Jamaica like sometimes 2-3 times a month.
Yes?
Yeah, of
yes, I have to give.
Well, we appreciate that you still maintain the contact, and you are very much patriotic in your own way.
And we appreciate
You don't know how much I call Jamaica like 10-15 times a day. I want to make sure that the people there is protected. I love my country. I wish I could come home and just relax the way that I'm relaxing here right now.
Well, what's stopping you?
Well, I can relate to the feeling when I'm not here.
Well, you know, there's two things. One is, I hate sometimes when I speak like that, and it's like I am George Stone. Two things that bother me, which I think need to be to eradicate. I might not get it. Proper health care is one of my concerns. The other one is security. And then the next one on the agenda is education. Because if you don't educate the people to know what's happening, and if you don't have proper security, people are going to be scared. And if you don't have proper health care, people are going to die.
Yeah.
So those three can come into being. Then, after 42 years, I think I will come home and relax and enjoy the fruit of my labor. But for right now, I do the same work like you. I got off about 12 o'clock, and I head straight home. And there's 3 big TV, and every one of them is on Jamaica.
Yeah.
Every one of them is on Jamaica because I want to know what's happening.
As a fellow reporter, you just mentioned, so we're very happy to talk to you, and perhaps that's why we had the producers go the extra mile for you. But that's not really the truth. We would have done it for any of our viewers. But we appreciate that you are trusting us for reliable, credible, and
just keep me updated that I can pass it on. Just keep. I've been watching. Keep me updated.
We will do that.
Stick and stay with us at CVM, and you'll get the very latest as it's happening here on the ground. Duke of Earl, thank you so much for calling.
God bless you, man. Keep it going.
All right, my brother.
Bye-bye.
All right. Listen, a lot has been happening, and I am happy that we've been chosen to carry the world to the gates of Jamaica at a time like this.
Absolutely.
And to show them that there is responsible journalism being practiced in this country, and we are passionate here at CVM TV about what we do and how we do it.
And getting accurate information.
Accuracy is the name of our game.
Yeah, that's absolutely important. I see you're going back to the quiz now, Nika.
It's not going to be hard.
Okay.
It's not going to be hard.
All right.
In 1951, we had a hurricane, and we called it a C word, a C name.
A C
You weren't around,
name.
I wasn't around, but it's a C name. But for the people who are watching, 1951.
I'm thinking, could it be Hurricane Charlie?
Could it be you copied again? Could it be? He's copying off my... You know what? We're going to talk a little more about Beryl and its development. So if we can hear a little of what's coming out of the Met Office at this time. I know we've been promised hourly bulletins, and we've been getting a few of those since yesterday. We've been tracking closely what has been happening at the Met Office, and so we anticipate that we should be right around another one, because it's 6 minutes after 5 here in Jamaica local time. So
we're getting ready for that update, and of course we're gonna see if we can join one of our correspondents.
Yes,
as well in St. Anne.
The correspondent out there in St. Anne, where we understand there have been some developments, and we know St. Anne is no stranger to disastrous effects or impacts because of
the Garden Parish, but you know they've also been battered. Yeah. So we're going to Kirk Hall.
All the way out there in the Garden Parish in St. Anne. Hi, Kirk.
Hi, good afternoon.
Kirk, so much has happened today. What has been happening down there in St. Anne?
Well, St. Anne didn't escape the wrath of Beryl. As I speak, I'm out here in the rain. I'm coming down the Milford Road into Orchard Rails. Several trees are falling down. Several trees are falling down, blocking the. You can hear me?
I'm hearing you, and I'm hearing also the wind outside of our studio.
Wow, terribly. Right along the Orchard High School there is blocked. We journeyed along the Pineapple Main Road. Part of the Pineapple Main Road is completely blocked as well. That's right in front of the Standard hotel there. So I turn back and go on the other route, which is the highway.
Yes.
Running through some other blockages there. While I was coming down along the Orchard police station, I saw a very, very touching situation where I saw 3 homeless persons standing up in the rain. A female in particular, she stood right at the Orchard police station gate, and the rain and the wind was beating her, and she was all there to leave to the elements. So in Orchard, we are getting our fair share of Beryl here.
My goodness. And I'm hoping that those unhoused people were able to find some refuge at the police station or somewhere nearby.
Well, as I speak right now, I'm looking at 2 of them. One is lying on the ground in front of the station, and the other one is just on the adjoining building standing up as well. The female, I don't know where she has turned. It's terrible. It's terrible. I tell you, it's terrible.
We're hoping that those persons can find, as you said, Nika, some refuge sooner rather than later. Just now, as we were speaking to you, Kurt, we heard thunder. Was it thunder?
It felt also
of building here, as I speak again. The wind is just terribly here.
It's howling, as Andrew shared earlier, that the wind sometimes was howling.
And you can see.
Oh my! That's in which aspect of St. Anne? Which area of St. Anne is this?
We're talking
at
in the
Main
town
Street.
center, Pineapple to be exact, and along the bypass road.
Fresh out of St. Anne.
I literally came out of my vehicle and used my machine to clear part of the road to come down into the town of Orchard.
That's a sign we're looking at on Main Street in St. Anne?
That's a down sign.
Yes,
that's
right in the middle of Orchard.
My goodness. All right, so a few of the signs are still standing,
in fact,
at least
standing.
for now. But what is that?
Remember earlier when I was talking about the wobbling advertising sign?
So this is on the St. Anne, what is this? The Orchard
Main Road.
No, this is the bypass, the main road. Okay.
We're seeing some trees down.
That's
yes,
correct.
We're seeing quite a bit of trees down. So is you use your machete, Kirk, and chop down those?
Well, I had to use my machete to gain entrance. You will see some other footages
coming
in shortly with me actually working my way through the system.
dedication.
The entrance to the Sandals resort has been completely blocked.
That's in
completely blocked.
And that's what I wanted to also talk to you about, Kirk. We know there are a number of resorts in Ocho Rios. Did you get a sense of what is being done to, secure and protect our visitors who are enduring this hurricane with us on the island?
Well, I would expect normal protocol to kick in there. I personally haven't spoken to any personnel from the resort, but I can do that throughout the afternoon.
And we really appreciate it, Kirk.
Absolutely.
You've always gone above and beyond. And especially now when you're telling us that you had to take out your machete. People,
just to clear
people, we've had some superb correspondents over the years here at CVM TV delivering to you these sorts of stories.
Certainly.
Where is this? Oh, this is Pineapple Grove, the entrance to Sandals.
Sandals.
My goodness.
Wow. Jamaica, you are looking at images
fronds on the ground
coming out of.
Is that dish? Okay, all right.
Images coming out of the St. Anne.
I took that back. I thought it was a satellite dish. I realized it was a mirror.
and look at the trees and the branches.
They have come forward. Almost
has gotten its fair share of Beryl. That's all I can tell you.
Roadway.
Its fair share of Beryl. Kirk, thank you so much for all the hard work that you are doing over there in St. Anne.
I want to know, Kirk, if you've had a sense of what's been happening over there in St. Mary, next door to St. Anne, because we've been hearing a bit of things coming out of St. Mary. What did you hear?
To liaison with the mayor over there to find out exactly what's going on the ground there.
Indeed. What is the sense of the mood on the ground, especially leading up to today? What were you sensing mostly in the spaces?
Well, in the spaces, when you visit the supermarket, most of the shelves, they were empty. Persons were on a mad rush. Yesterday, in particular, the town was like a Christmas Eve when it talking about traffic. Bumper to bumper traffic blocked every roadway in Ocho Rios into last night. Today, though, the road is completely clean. Nobody's on the street. Everywhere is closed down.
And we've been seeing a lot of activity, but only from the elements.
Yes, ma'am.
So Kirk, we've seen a lot of trees that are down, and look at that.
If we could look back at that
footage
just now. I missed it, and I thought, I missed something big. Look at those. That poor palm tree is not going to be. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Jamaica,
we're showing you the effects
breaking apart.
The effects of Hurricane Beryl.
On the north coast.
Exactly. I was just about to ask Kirk whether there had been any freak accidents in terms of trees falling down, maybe on like cars or property or anything like that. Kirk, have you heard anything?
Not to the best of my knowledge. I have not gotten any word from the security force of anything like that happened. Still early days. So I will keep my fingers crossed.
Kirk, we're looking at something very disturbing on screen. It seems to be a drain cover somewhere in St. Anne that's about to explode, blow.
Well, that drain cover, that manhole you're looking at there, it's the manhole along the Sandals main road there in front of the hotel right there on the main road, Main Street, Pineapple.
So, Kirk, I don't know if you know, but we want to have that image back on screen. This is what we're looking at. You're telling me this is what? This is fresh water or this is sewage water?
Yeah. I couldn't confirm.
Goodness.
One thing I can tell you is that just looking at it, it couldn't be fresh water based on what I saw personally coming out of it. And I'll go, and that is as far as I will go.
Kirk, do you think that if the Prime Minister hadn't ordered for the curfew to be in effect, that maybe we would have heard about a form of serious incidents by now? Because people would have been rushing out into the streets and onto the edges of these places to get videos and other things?
Well, in his wisdom, or in his wise wisdom, I think personally he did the right thing. Because knowing Jamaican, we are particular last-minute person. We rush for the last things. We do things in a rush at the point in time. So I think he made a right call there and then.
Typically, on a day like today in St. Anne, this is one of the street persons Kirk was sharing that he saw roaming the streets in St. Anne earlier. Kirk, this happened just a few minutes ago. So this man is out there somewhere roaming the streets. This is someone's relative.
And you can see the wind.
And the wind is, but he seems unfazed.
Right now, looking at them right now as I speak.
He seems unfazed. He seems to just be more concerned about, oh my goodness. Now he's trying to get some shelter. But I thought the action plan of the government was one that would have seen these people being brought into a space where they would be protected.
I spoke to the mayor.
So how do we explain this?
Friday.
Yeah.
And I was told, no, not Friday, Wednesday, sorry. And I was told that preparation have been made for persons like what you're seeing there to be held or placed at the drop-in center that's in the Buckfield area. As to why these persons have not taken up the offer, or as to why they were not placed there, I couldn't say.
Yeah.
These are some of the questions we definitely need to raise with the authorities when we speak with them again, even after this. Kirk, what is your message of hope, if any, that you have gleaned coming out of this experience?
Well, for sure, Ocho Rios are sent on a whole. It's the Garden Parish, as normally called. I would have said we are spared the worst, even though things is happening right now as I speak. I would have said we are spared the worst. So we're giving God thanks. So there is still hope and light at the end of the tunnel. Based on what I'm seeing here in front of me now, yes, there are some damages in terms of some roofs have been blown off, signs and all that. But at the end of the day, based on what I have seen coming out of St. Lucia and those countries, we still have to give God thanks where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, indeed.
Based on what we've seen, as Kirk has rightly said,
yes.
Coming out of some of the other territories in the region, it would appear as though we have been spared the worst, but it would only appear that way.
Absolutely. It will require a fulsome assessment by the experts sometime later on to decipher if we've really been spared the worst.
So
those wires seem to be at risk.
We're looking at a massive tree which appears to be entangled with wires.
Yes. And that looks like it seems to be a public space. So the authorities would have told us that they're responsible for those trees in public spaces, and that tree looks like it's about to compromise several wires, telecommunication wires, JPS wires, and otherwise.
Kirk, can you tell us exactly where this this video footage came from?
Unfortunately, no. I am not watching the television now as I speak. I'm reading as I speak, so I'm not seeing exactly what's on screen.
It does look dangerous, though.
It's a huge, towering tree that is just behind a fence, and it seems to be poised to take down at least 16 or so wires from where I'm looking. If I think this tree can do damage, I think some of those properties are going to be lighting up like Christmas tree if something isn't done. Hopefully there's no power in those wires.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And this is why I believe Audrey from JPS, Miss Williams, mentioned earlier that Thank you so much, Kirk, because we're going to be checking in back with you. You have been doing yeoman service, and that was very comprehensive. He's been roving the parish of St. Anne. He's our correspondent, and he's been doing the most to ensure, despite the blockages, to get us this information and to give us a roundup as to what's happening there in the Garden Parish. But you're most welcome, Kirk, and we look forward to more from you. But Andrew, what I was thinking was when we interviewed Audrey and she mentioned some of these places that will go without power for some time, it's for safety reasons.
Yeah.
Because if a tree like that were to come down, the Lord forbids, and
we saw all those wires. I mean,
we did. And we see that massive tree. Those branches can do damage.
Yeah, several houses and
some of those look like business establishments.
Complex, exactly.
Can you imagine you sitting at home watching us on CVM and seeing your business next door to that tree and the wire? I hope you're not too perturbed. Yeah, but let us pray that those wires have no power in them.
And of course, Audrey did inform us that, sometimes it can take up to 3 weeks for restoration of electricity service within the homes of customers, sometimes depending on
because of the priority,
the severity and the priority, the order of priority in terms of getting electricity back in houses.
Yes. Well, we aren't going to exhaust you, but we will not stop reminding you of the emergency contact numbers. We have the hurricane update that you can find if you dial 116. They're being displayed on screen right now for you, just to make it a little bolder if you're having vision issues. We have the police, 119, the fire department, ambulance services can be reached at the same number. It's 110. Now, if you want lifeline medical response support, like ambulance,
yeah,
you can call 876-974-6404. And mental health and suicide prevention helpline, there is a number for that too, because we don't know what you're facing as you go through this storm, what memories they may bring back. So for mental health and suicide prevention support and all of that, you can call 888-639-0543. Ignore the final 3 at the end. Ambulance service generally, there are several numbers on your screen right now. I'm just going to share maybe the first 3. So we have 876-978-2327. We also have 876-978-6021 and 876-978-8253. If you need Jamaica Red Cross, you can get them at, I'm giving you this one, Andrew.
That's 876-984-7860. You can reach the Jamaica Red Cross at 876-984-7860. So, and of course, there's Air Sea Rescue, which you can contact at 119.
Same number as the police.
Same number as the police.
I don't see why you'd be out at sea at this point, but I understand that, previously sometimes people would be caught at sea or you're marooned in your community, so maybe you need that
I can't
support.
imagine anyone being at sea based on the images that we've seen. I mean, the image just behind us, which shows the length and breadth of Hurricane Beryl. I think now is a good time to pause.
It's a lot to absorb.
As we take a break here on CVM's coverage that we're calling Eye on Beryl. So we take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Just ahead of that though, Andrew, before this, I want you to brace for the interview that's coming up right after this break with Elon Parkinson. We're talking to him about telecoms company Digicel.
and minute, every rubbish in a pan. No dirty up the place, this a we island. So keep Jamaica, keep Jamaica. Say me could do it, keep Jamaica clean. Make you listen to me please. No plastic bag, no fear blowing at the breeze. No proper garbage, disposal, recycle plastic, now make it full up in the streets. Bag it and bin it, every rubbish in a pan. No dirty up the place, this a we island. So keep Jamaica, keep Jamaica. Say me could do it. A message from the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
In need of a loan? AIM Financial is the place to go. We have loans from $20,000 to $3.3 million. Get a loan to pay school or college tuition, medical expenses, bills, fix up your house, buy furniture and appliances, repair or buy a car. And when you're done, take a vacation loan. AIM has a loan for any purpose. Call AIM today. You won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
Goes all the way around the outside in the Neil McLaren. Collins got two wheels. Contact!
With a perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
What do these people know that you don't know? They understand how listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange can improve the profitability of their company. They know the potential for increasing the company's capital, the governance requirements, the tax responsibilities, the ownership implications, and the procedures for listing. They have the knowledge to make an informed decision on whether or not to go public. Knowledge is power. If you don't know, you can't act. Begin a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange to gain the information you need to make a decision.
I'm Stafford Burrows.
I'm Marilyn Burrows.
My name is Hugh Graham.
I'm John Mafood. My name is Derek Cottrell, and we are listed on the Jamaica Junior Stock Exchange.
Give us a call today at 876-967-3271 to begin your transformation through conversation. We want to see your company listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of the free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM+. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Hello and welcome back to CVM's extended and live coverage update. We're keeping our eye on Beryl and giving you the latest about what's happening out there on the road. We're gonna speak now with Mr. Elon Parkinson
from Digicel,
Digicel Jamaica, who joins us via Zoom. Hello, Elon, and thank you so much for joining us on our coverage here as we update the nation.
Hi, thank you. Good to be here, and I trust that you guys are keeping safe.
Absolutely, as best we can, Elon, as best we can. So So earlier we had a discussion about how impressive we think telecoms has been since the start of the day.
Yes.
Certainly we've been able to make several calls and connect with our reporters in the field, for example. What are you seeing though from the inside, Elon, in terms of the network and connectivity?
Thank you. Well, the very latest from our network operations team is that just about 35% or so of our sites are currently inoperative. The good news is that there is overlapping coverage. And what I mean by that is that if a site is down and there's one nearby, it can provide a fair amount of coverage to customers in the area. So customers may notice one or two challenges with making calls. For example, they may have to do a retry. In other cases, they may notice reduced data speeds, but they will eventually get through with those data sessions and those phone calls. The best way to communicate during this time, though, I would urge customers is to simply send an SMS, a text message. Go back to those days when you used to. It's quite effective, it uses less network resources, and it gets your message across and keeps you constantly connected. So far, the Digicel network has held up significantly throughout the onslaught of Hurricane Beryl. I'm here at our office in downtown Kingston, where our customer care team, they're working hard to maintain contact with our customers via the My Digicel app and over the phone as well, providing all sorts of support to our emergency teams as they require it. Our network teams and skeletal staff of our facilities management team, they're also here. And they're really carrying out yeoman service throughout this time to keep Jamaica connected.
And we do appreciate that. But we still have been receiving, Elon, some calls and concerning texts from some of your customers out there in Portmore, Spanish Town, and Port Royal who are saying that their service has been relatively inconsistent since the period of the hurricane. What would you like to say to them?
Right, and we apologize for those customers. I think those customers will understand as well that just based on what's taking place, the intensity of the storm, it is shifting antennas as well at our cell sites. So what you'll find is that a cell site is working, but because of the intensity of the wind, it will have shifted the antenna towards a different coverage area. In some cases, an area that's already covered with mobile service. And as such, it causes an inconvenience to the other customers. Of course, as soon as it is safe to do so, we are letting those customers know that our tech teams will be out there to reorient those antennas and to get the power restored to as many cell sites as possible.
There are still some complaints also in East Rural St. Andrew, especially in Mavis Bank area. They're saying that they've been having connectivity issues at times, and you just mentioned that the intensity of the hurricane can impact that. But what other reassurance is there for those customers at this time?
Well, that's the best reassurance we can give under the circumstances, and we believe that our customers will understand why. When the antenna would have shifted at the site, it really takes a human to go there and to move that antenna back into place. But of course, only when it is safe to do so. Yes. We also work very closely with the National Works Agency. We're in constant contact with the National Emergency Operations Center, with the ODPEM and the other state agencies to ensure that when our teams are ready to move, then it is safe for them to do so, not only from a logistics standpoint, but also security as well. There are landslides, especially in the Mavis Bank area, as you would imagine. So that would necessitate some amount of clearance from the NWA working in tandem with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They've been doing an excellent job. We've seen them conducting the patrols here in downtown Kingston. The fire department as well, where their equipment may be called upon to ensure proper ingress and egress to these communities. So it's an all-hands approach. Digicel is central to all of it. We understand our role as a critical telecommunication provider to Jamaica, and our focus remains on keeping the country constantly connected.
Well, I gotta tell you, Elon, wherever you are, your picture and your audio is coming across
pixel perfect,
clear. So
all the antennas are turned in your direction.
Absolutely.
I'm at our head office. We do a great job here in terms of ensuring that we are prepared to deal with the onslaught of Hurricane Beryl and practically anything that nature attempts to throw at us. Just here fielding the feedback from our customers and hearing what's happening out there. Our hearts go out to those customers who would have lost their roofs, to our business customers as well, in terms of the assets that they would have lost. But of course, we're hearing so far that no lives have been lost. And for that, we give thanks, and we hope that everyone gets through this safely and, more importantly, alive.
Elon, I know one of the challenges telecoms companies like Digicel struggle with is theft of equipment and the security overall of equipment. So what kind of security would you say is in place to ensure that that kind of criminality and theft is mitigated during Hurricane Beryl?
Well, we do our best to ensure that the network is safe and sound, right? We have to refuel the generators. We have to ensure that the batteries are secure so that when the public power supply goes, we can still keep our customers connected. It's not always an easy job. Sometimes it's a bit of a cat and mouse game where it concerns refueling our generators, especially at those sites in far-flung areas, especially in rural Jamaica, where it's a little bit difficult to manage the terrain, to go up a hill, for example, to refuel a site and come back down, only to discover that the fuel was stolen some hours later. So we have been working closely with the authorities, including the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and they have taken an intelligence-driven approach towards supporting our logistics-driven approach towards ensuring that we maintain fuel supplies, maintain battery availability at these sites, and overall keep Jamaica constantly connected. And I think it's paying off in terms of what you're seeing now and hearing now in terms of customers being able to still make their phone calls, mount their data sessions, and to reach out to to their friends and family far and wide. It's very important for us at this time to ensure that people have confidence in our network and that they can just give that message of assurance. If it's even a text message, a WhatsApp message, a quick video call, a phone call to say we're okay. And even when we're not okay, to have the ability to say so.
Yeah, Elon, I was wondering if you could share with the nation some of the areas that are most affected by Hurricane Beryl.
From a telecoms standpoint, it would be Eastern Jamaica, some sections of the middle part of the country, Manchester, for example. There are some sections of St. Elizabeth, especially towards the south coast of St. Elizabeth, where we have sites affected. The parts that have not been too affected include
Oh, we spoke too soon, Elon?
We spoke too soon.
No, you didn't know, not at all. I'm talking to you on my cell phone, so I should have disabled. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Western Jamaica is largely unaffected, but as you can imagine, the south coast is where it's all happening.
Well, Elon, what else would you like to share with the people of Jamaica who have your services in a time like this? What would you want them to know as we head closer into the 8 o'clock knockout period?
The good thing is that we know that our customers have our services and that for the most part, they continue to utilize our services. We see the videos that they're sharing. We see the updates that they're sharing. We see the concerns that they're also airing on social media and in other ways that people communicate these days. What we urge, however, is for persons to continue to follow the instructions, follow the updates from credible news sources like CVM, for example, follow the pages of credible outlets where you can get updated information. Above all, remember that the curfew is still in place, so continue to stay inside and, be a good neighbor. Where you can assist, please do so. But above all, ensure that you remain safe, you keep your family safe, and that we all come through this together and alive.
Elon, we were wondering if there's anything that Digicel has in the goodie bag to help Jamaicans, coming out of Hurricane Beryl in terms of, Elon, you know where I'm going with this, right? You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going with this. Any kind of support in terms of telecoms? Are we looking at free SMSs? He gets it. I think he gets it. Elon,
It's that time of the year, whenever we have these adverse weather conditions, we're always looking out for ways to support our customers in the recovery aspect of things. Still early hours yet. I can assure you that we will come up with something for our customers, and our sole purpose right now is to keep them constantly connected from a technical standpoint. The network is holding up nicely, and we want to maintain that. Our crews are out there. They are ready to restore service via those cell sites that are currently down. And when we think that we have a greater or bigger handle on things, then of course, we're going to come to the goodies. So follow us on social media at Digicel Jamaica, on X, on Facebook, and on Instagram and Threads as well. And stay updated for the things in the goodie bag, as you put it, that our customers are likely to enjoy coming out of all of this. But above all, we want everybody to remain safe. All right, so let's get through this together, and then we can talk about the good things thereafter.
Absolutely, Elon. And I'm going to probably have to charge you for that plug.
Absolutely. I think we should. We have to, Elon. What's in the goodie bag? All right. Thank you so much, Elon.
Head of Communications and Corporate Affairs at Digicel Jamaica. Thank you so much for joining us, my brother.
All right.
Anytime. Stay safe.
You too.
You too. And we are up on a break, but right after that, we'll be hearing from Flo, actually, from Stephen Price.
From Stephen Price from Flo.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that.
And there might be something in the goodie bag there too, who knows?
Story, what's your sign? Who dreamers? People say we're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
I am the only dog.
But I'm going to fix our business fair,
More comfortable.
More comfortable for what, Pastor?
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure. Royal Palm Estate is on CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM Plus. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers and Cooking with Love. And you're tuned in right now. CVM TV. Watch it. We're going to go crazy in the kitchen. Check it out.
Yeah, sister, the man a big chef, you know.
Boy, I'm a try a little thing when I'm ready, you know. World Dig.
We gave you Kevin Downs. We gave you Glacier Robinson.
Hold my hand today.
We gave you Lubert Levy.
By force, we are going to take it by force. Yeah.
And now, 10 gospel music warriors vie to determine who will be the 2024 JCDC Jamaica Gospel Star. Sundays in prime time, 8 p.m. on CVM TV, starting July 7th. Our God is bigger than what people say.
With a perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Hello and welcome back to CVM's live coverage of Eye on Beryl. My name is Andrew Laidley and we go now to our reporter Raheem White, who's out by the Norman Manley International Airport. Hi Raheem, what can you tell us about what you have seen happening out there?
Hey Andrew Laidley. So I'm currently standing outside at the Norman Manley International Airport, where it's also reported that the airport suffered minor damages, like the roof, a section of the roof, the wind blew it off. Let me tell you, the wind is extremely strong. The rain, it's coming down in small droplets, but as soon as the rain should fall on the ground, the wind is just flinging it right back up in the air. And so the road is extremely flooded. We tried to make an exit, but we were unsuccessful and we had to stay at the airport. And so far we can see that the trees are shaking, the light post is shaking, the wires on the light post is shaking, the cars are shaking. That's how extreme it is over here right now. And so far I can see where the clouds hovering over me, they're slowly moving. And I do hope that it's moving to make an exit, because right now it's just unbearable. The wind is crazy. The rain, as I said, it's in small droplets, but it's plenty.
Give me a description of what you saw along the roadway leading over to Norman Manley International Airport.
Okay, so on the roadway you can see, well, I saw where the stones from the sea strip over Palisades, they were on the road, there were tree branches, there were some sections, there were some parts of the billboard pieces lying down on the road coming to the airport, and then going back to the airport, going back from the airport, you can see where everything is just covered in water. Everything is covered in water. The trees, everything is leaning over. The branches, they're just covered in water. You don't know where or what it is.
Raim, you spoke about a section of the actual airport that has been damaged. Can you say what section of the airport that was and how that damage occurred?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to say what section, but I am still seeking some information, and I'm sure they are currently, because I see law enforcement, the police officers are here, so I'm sure they are doing their assessment to ensure that what I'm saying is true, and to get back to me with the information as to what is what and where is where, and I will tell you that information as soon as I get it.
Thank you so much, Raim. I'm going to ask you just to turn your camera or just to pan a bit so we can show our viewers what's happening out there at the Norman Manley International Airport, where we're hearing there's heavy wind and also heavy rainfall. You're seeing there the car park at the Norman Manley International Airport. Our reporter Raim White is in fact on the ground and is giving us the very latest. This is live footage that you are looking at out by Kingston 17. You can see the wind is blowing super hard as Raim has said. And Raim, just tell us what you're feeling and what's happening on the ground.
So trying to get back to Kingston, I was extremely nervous. Because I was unsure as to what to do. Should I stay or should I go? If I stay, the car is shaking. But if I do leave, the car is still shaking. So we tried to make an exit, and we realized that we cannot see. We cannot see. The wind is tossing the car. The trees, we don't know if the wires will just pop at any moment. The light post will drop. It's just...
Yeah.
It's just...
Yes.
I don't even know how to describe it. But...
Right, Raim, I wanted to find out from you. Are you seeing, is there anyone at the airport at all?
There are some workers here, but I do believe they are security workers. So I can confirm that they are.
And Raim, I'm going to ask you to turn your camera back around. We can hear you, but we want to see what is happening live on the ground. So go ahead. You were telling me about the personnel, if any, that you're seeing on the ground.
Yes, so currently at the moment there are some security personnel here. Upon entrance, they did advise us that the airport is closed, and so this is just how it is at the moment.
Okay, our reporter Raim White, they're reporting from the Norman Manley International Airport. In terms of the Palisade Strip, Raim, which you had to come through to get there, is that possible at the moment?
It is not. It is not. The water is trying to make its way over. However, it's battling with the stones. It's also battling with the trees. It's battling. It's just at war.
Right. So we're hearing there from our reporter that the Palisade Strip is in fact sort of impossible at this time and not safe to travel in that area as we expected, and as we have seen over the years, the Palisade Strip becoming fully inundated, of course, with water. But it would appear, Raim, that the stone barrier that has been created at the Palisades is doing its job.
It's trying its best at the moment, but so far, because of the droplets of the rain and the wind trying to push the rain off the ground, it's just impossible.
Right, Raim White over there at the Norman Manley International Airport. Raim, do stay safe. You know you have said that you made an attempt to exit the area, and in your good judgment, you were unable to do so. So, of course, do continue to stay safe, but continue to give us coverage and live updates as best as you can, and we will continue to monitor the situation here from our studios. So that's Raim White, our reporter out there in the Kingston 17 area, providing live coverage and footage there that you're seeing now of the Norman Manley International Airport car park showing the rainfall that's happening, as well as the heavy wind that is being experienced out in that side of the island. So, Raheem, thank you so much for your coverage, and do stay safe.
Will do.
All right, we now go to a representative, Stephen Price from Flow, Jamaica. Stephen, are you there and can you hear me? Stephen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening, Stephen, and thank you so much for joining me here on CVM's Hurricane Beryl coverage. We're keeping our eye on Beryl. Stephen, straight out of the park, what are you hearing from your customers in terms of connectivity across the island?
I think generally customers are quite happy, especially on the mobile side, given that the network has held up quite well. I think right now probably maybe we have probably about 18% of our sites that are down, and largely those are due to roughly just GPS power. Because some of those sites actually, because of just the issues of theft and vandalism over there, aren't with generator power. But I mean, the network has held up quite well, especially even given the fact that we've had most of the traffic moving to the mobile network, just given the fact that residential power went out for the most part across the country. It's held up really, really well. I'm just really happy with that at this point.
Yeah, Stephen, you mentioned that mobile has held up pretty well. How about internet, landline, and television?
The network is up generally. I think we have somewhere around 30% of nodes that are down. That we'll have to really investigate once we get an all clear so that we can go out and check and see exactly what has happened. Generally, largely, that 30%, it's unpowered nodes. Because if you understand an HFC network, some of them operate with power nodes, some operate without. But as long as residential power comes back up, those generally will come back up as soon as we have light again.
Stephen, can you say in what areas these nodes have been down or are down?
I think it's a splattering across the island. You know what happens during these weather events, cables, wires, get entangled with GPS wires, those kind of things happen that cause some breaks in some places. But generally, what I will say to you is that most of it is just forward related from that perspective.
Stephen, as you know, a lot of people depend on your service to stay in touch and to communicate with their loved ones and friends during this time. How soon can you assure them that their service, for those who don't have service, that service would be restored?
I think what we have to do, and I mean, as with any other utility, at the point we get an all clear, that's when we go to make our assessments. And then obviously in order of priority in terms of the most major nodes and the most major routes, we'll start the restoration process. But generally, given the magnitude of the storm, we are quite okay with just what has happened so far. I know we're still getting a beating in the west in terms of just the storm still passing. But we all hope for the best, and we believe that we have the team, we have the staff, we have the technology, and we think we can recover quickly.
You spoke about vandalism earlier. Has there been any actual reports since the impact of Hurricane Beryl started on the island of any vandalism?
No, not since the storm, not at all.
Okay.
But in the months prior, I mean, we lost in the region of maybe 50 or 60 generators and many other pieces of network equipment, as you're aware of, that your station has reported on. But, I mean, it's a fact of life to cover this entire network. You'd need a force the size of about 3 times the Jamaica Constabulary Force together in order to protect it all from that, you know. So we manage and we work through. Obviously, the key thing for us that we've been going through is that we have covered somewhere in the region of 780,000 homes with fiber, and that is our mainstay right now. We're slowly but surely migrating all of the old copper customers across onto this fiber network. because that's the future, and that's a future-proof network for the future of the country, for Vision 2030.
What do you think can, could, or should be done to improve the services of flow across the island, or what needs to be done to ensure that when we have a weather event such as Hurricane Beryl, that you can maintain connectivity and security for your customers?
I think, my friend, it's a Category 4 hurricane. No network is normally graded from Category 4. It's up to Category 3 from that perspective. So once we've come out on this side, as we have, we're quite happy with where we are right now. I think the fact is we continue to reinforce the network. We continue to invest in our own power supply in terms of our generating power as well as our backup power, just to make sure that we continue to stay up. And that's the resilience that we're trying to build in the network. We already have a solid network in terms of the amount of routes that are there. We have an entire subsea network that supports our country, which runs right around the island. That gives us that level of confidence in the network. We have multiple routes on island, which we support. We even support the government network in terms of making sure that their NWA network also stays up with our fiber. So we're doing the things necessary as a business. I have to thank my wonderful team who are soldiering through the storm. They have been working quite well. Big up my team from my local crisis management team who are working at the head office right now, my Beryl warriors, and the rest of staff, and any person who leads a business. The most important thing for me is that my people are safe and are okay. And people have been ringing in, calling in, saying that they're fine, and that's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate all the work that you and your team are, in fact, doing, Stephen Price at Flow. I want to ask you specifically, though, Stephen, before I let you go, about the communities of Mavis Bank, Port Royal, and Portmore. As we speak, we're getting persons complaining about lack of connectivity and service in those areas. I was wondering if you could just speak to that.
Well, you've seen the airport and you've seen the airport road, so we have to assess that once we have it all clear in terms of Port Royal, see what has happened and transpired there. In terms of Mavis Bank, that is generally a power-related issue, just based on the nodes that are there. I am not sure if there are any reports of landslides, but as soon as we get an all clear, we can make sure that we make our assessments to understand what's happening there.
And I have to put this question to you, Stephen. Is there going to be any kind of support for your customers in terms of any kind of support that you could give in the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl to ensure that persons who might be having a challenge or difficulty can stay connected with their loved ones?
No, definitely. I mean, we've been doing various things for mobile customers throughout the hurricane. We've released about 2 or so offers. We'll do some things, but the reality is the network is still solid. So the fact is we'll continue to assess as we go through. I think what we want to know is that as the report's coming and you're doing human service and God's work in terms of keeping the nation informed, as soon as we understand what's happening right across the country, we can better respond. I think one of the things that we've started already, or Cable and Wireless Charitable Foundation, is already in the process of raising funds in order to help persons who are affected. We are doing work out in the Eastern Caribbean in order to help with that in terms of humanitarian services in Grenada, Carriacou, Union, all those islands that are affected, to make sure, and the same will apply for Jamaica. We have partnered with World Central Kingston, who is mobilizing in Grenada and St. Vincent to help the citizens there. And should the need arise, and based on how we fare at the end of this, we'll have a similar partnership here in Jamaica.
Yeah, Stephen, is there a message of hope or any message that you'd like to send to your customers as they're listening in to our discussion?
I'd like to say thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for being there with us through this path. We are there with you through this path. And we're going to continue to make sure that you stay connected with your friends and family overseas, here, right across the country. But we will start those operations once we have an all clear from the National Emergency Center to make sure that, for instance, we're able to go and respond. Obviously, life and limb is at risk. We're not able to respond until that time. But I want to tell them, stay safe. I know many of them are depending on their mobiles right now. Also, preserve your battery life if you don't have backup chargers right now, just to make sure that you're able to stay in contact.
Yeah, that's Stephen Price, General Manager for Flow Jamaica. They are giving us the very latest on what's happening with the Flow network across the island. Thank you so much, Stephen, and do stay safe.
You too and your family.
Thank you very much. All right, so we are getting live imagery of this, or Skycam again. We're looking at Kingston, just outside our CVM base here. We're looking at up Constant Spring Road, it would appear, toward the Grand Spin Road intersection. As you can see, it's still windy. And we're seeing our camera is literally swaying in the wind. We're seeing that it's really gusty outside, and of course conditions have not really changed since our last check-in with our Skycam. We're looking up and we still can't really see the hills, but we can see that the rain has in fact eased a little bit. We are seeing still the mist and the fog outside as Hurricane Beryl makes her way south of the island and heads in a westward direction. And Hurricane Beryl continues to impact Jamaica in a very severe way. Of course, CVM is continuing to bring you continuous coverage of what's happening on the ground out there. We're giving it to you blow by blow, live coverage of how the nation is faring under the effect of Hurricane Beryl as it is happening. I mean, when you look at these images that we've seen coming out of St. Anne earlier when we spoke with our correspondent Kirk Hall, it was really telling in terms of the impact that Hurricane Beryl is having just across the length and breadth of the island. We've seen what's happening in Portland. We've seen what's happening in Montego Bay. We've seen what's happening in St. Catherine. We spoke this morning with a number of our reporters across the island, including Helsha, where persons were still hesitant to get out of the area, partly because they want to ensure that they are securing their property and that they are securing their assets. Understandably so, but still, the authorities were making the appeal and imploring persons that there is nothing that can substitute for your life. And that's really what's on the line when we're dealing with these kinds of weather events and weather systems. We also saw where there was a similar situation in Port Royal, as we've seen year over year, where those residents are also hesitant to get out of their homes, even though it is known that those communities will in fact be flooded. And we've seen in the past where those communities, we've had to have the helicopters going in and trying to take persons out of those communities. So it's much of the same across the island in terms of, the hesitancy and what some Jamaicans might even say is just downright stubbornness, and persons having little regard for their own life. We heard one of our reporters, Curling Brown in Clarendon, speaking with a gentleman who was insisting that he was going to dive into a river and dive into the sea during the middle of the hurricane, and it was a clear and blatant disregard for all the alerts and notifications that has come from the ministries and from the agencies, certainly from the Office of Disaster Emergency Preparedness. We want to, in a moment, just remind you of some of the shelters and some of the locations there. Of course, we now have that on your screen. In Clarendon, we have, there's a shelter in, I believe that's Enon Town. And in Clarendon, there's also Alley Primary School. There's, is that Anderson Town Primary School, Arthur's Seat Primary School, Alston High School, Ashley Primary School. I'm guessing that's Beulah Primary and Junior High School. There's Beryl Community Center and Basic School. There's Brandon Hill Primary School as well. There's Buckner Community Center, as well as Bustamante High School and Canaan Heights Community. I suspect that should be Community Center. As we know, Clarendon is one of the areas expected to experience the brunt of Hurricane Beryl as the hurricane continues to affect the island. Of course, we here at CVM continue to bring you live and continuous coverage, and we will be here with you until the end of this weather system and until Hurricane Beryl herself has passed. We continue to take your calls, and I remind you of the number 876-931-6193. I'll repeat it, 876-931-6193. So please, we're asking you to call us and share with us your thoughts and let us know the very latest on what's happening in your area. Are you still experiencing rain, or are you experiencing heavy wind still in your area? We're listening out for those calls. We take a quick break here as we keep our eye on Hurricane Beryl. We'll be right back, so stay with us.
Days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
With a perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers and Cooking with Love. And you're tuned in right now. CVM TV. Watch it. We're going to go crazy in the kitchen. Check it out.
Yeah, sister, the man a big chef, you know.
Boy, I'm a try a little thing when I'm ready, you know. World Dig.
John Mark!
Celine, where you going? You can't say we're a friend now. Celine. We have to take on the road.
Yeah, man, we have to take out the same way. All right, Lord, thank you so much for this day.
Me, I do the work. Yeah.
and the people them accept it.
Clarendon, Mandeville, but now we get to go into the inner city of Kingston.
I can't wait to learn more as we go across Jamaica into different churches to understand what they do.
All right, guys, the news is in. You are loving MTM on CVM.
And for those who don't know, we are the Mitchells. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Tammy.
And you can come along with us on our journey every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Right here, you can see it happening on CVM TV.
Yeah, MTM on CVM.
See it happen, man. CVM man. MTM man. CVM man. See it happen, man. CVM man.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
No more fear of missing out. CVM TV News is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen.
What's your story? What's your sign? We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
Look who we have in the cut. No, today episode I got nice. Legends, Senator, my longtime brethren, the great all-star, the king, and the man himself. Salute! You know, as man, we're not to go as specialists, and that's the pinnacle of the problem. We want some new era. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. Lie! You work till a week. It was pandemonium. Country people can relate to me I talk about.
What you think about me no matter, you know. What matter to me is what me think about myself.
Man United, you know. I don't care what man want to say.
You know, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, man. You finished?
Yes, we finished.
The Cut is brought to you by Flo and Guinness.
Welcome back to CVM TV's live broadcast of our Eye on Beryl. It's a Category 4 hurricane that's been bolting its way towards Jamaica for the longest while, a few days now. And we here in Jamaica are finally experiencing perhaps some of the worst of its bands and potentially the effects of this hurricane. We are here. I'm Nika Lewis, just reminding you, if you're just joining us, we've been here for about 9 hours just talking to you and giving you all the highlights, blow by blow. And I'm joined by my co-host, Andrew Laidley. I introduced you, Andrew.
Thank you for having me, Nika. And thank you, Jamaica, for staying with us.
Yes.
Nika, I believe we need to remind our viewers of some of the hurricane shelters.
All right, let me take this one because this is my territory out west. It's in St. James. I can see the Adelphi Primary School out there in Adelphi, St. James. We also have Barretown Primary is another one. We have, I am seeing St. James High, Montego Bay High. We also have Cambridge High, Buckingham Primary School, Cambridge Primary School, Cambridge High School. We have Chatsworth Primary School, Corinaldi Avenue Primary School. These are some of the popular schools in the space within the parish of St. James that many of you would already know. Your children attend them. You have been there yourself. We have Orange Hill Primary School as well. And all that information is now being displayed on your screen.
Yeah.
I know we gave you some previously before the break.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew gave you all of what was out there for Clarendon.
For Clarendon. And I was going to say, Nika, I know Duke of Earl, who called out of Miami, would have appreciated this information and how persons in St. James can, in fact, find and where they can find refuge as Hurricane Beryl continues to make her way across the island.
So true. And so far, we've taken you through so many representatives from so many of the expert entities that we have been lobbying and relating to just for the information and the accuracy of what we're relaying to you. We spoke with Delano Williams from the NWC, all the major managers. We've spoken to the telecoms providers, Flow, Digicel. We've also spoken to Jamaica Public Service Company, JPSCO, your power supplier out there in the island. And we are explaining to you that the viewers who are watching us from across the globe are astounded by the fact that despite what they're seeing, the images from the National Hurricane Center, the Met Service, all over, that the eyes on Beryl are indicating we should really not be having any power. So we must be doing a few things right as it relates to preparedness and natural disaster management. So we have been getting some kudos here at CVM ourselves, and we know sometimes persons complain they could not see the channel for one reason or another, but we remind you we're all over social media. YouTube,
right there on YouTube.
Instagram, we're everywhere, but predominantly if you want to watch our live feed, we are right here on YouTube as well at CVM TV live stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm reminding, if you're listening or if you're viewing, we are taking your calls. We are still taking your calls. We want to hear from you.
Absolutamente. And while we're talking about this, I broke into Spanish because I looked behind me earlier and I saw, when I looked at the outer bands of Beryl, what you're looking at, you're seeing aspects of portions of Haiti, Port-au-Prince right there, the capital of Haiti. You're looking at Haiti that can just take no more.
No more.
We've always said here in Jamaica that our prayers go out to Haiti because there's just so much that has happened to Haiti in every scene or disaster setting. Haiti is right there on the top of the list. And so we're grateful to some extent that they're not facing the brunt of this one either. Cuba is getting a lot of what is out there in the outer bands. We're seeing Santiago de Cuba, Holguin, Manzanillo, all of those places, Camagüey in Cuba, feeling what would appear to be some of the softer hits from Hurricane Beryl, a Category 4 monster trying to hit back at Jamaica because we've not had a massive hit in a long time.
As far up as Turks and Caicos, Nika, we're seeing where those outer bands are affecting in very serious ways and very severe ways even. These countries are feeling storm, if not hurricane conditions as well. And we're seeing where those outer bands are in fact stretching far and wide and affecting just about the vast majority of territories in the Greater Antilles here in the Caribbean.
If you never remembered what was happening in geography class or social studies way back when,
the Greater Antilles,
the Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles. Right now, I predominantly say the Eastern Islands. I like to say that.
Ooh, the East.
It captures a bit of everything, but this is right now.
Yes.
You're looking at live image from the National Hurricane Center and all the experts tracking Hurricane Beryl, the Category 4 disaster that is waiting to happen, and Jamaica is in the heart of some of its throes. But there you see it.
It's exactly what
further out now west.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming that is why the people in Savlamar are telling us now that they're without power. They're without power, and we know that that could be caused by myriad reasons. Earlier in the day, it was the eastern end of the island that was taking the battering. And we've since learned that some of the roads have been reduced to single lane traffic. And we also understand that some of the areas have been blocked off because of downed trees, utility poles in some instances. And in some areas like St. Thomas, we've seen early flooding. So if you're in St. Thomas, if you're in St. Thomas, we've pulled out quite a bit of our reporters. We're penning those stories for you so you can have a comprehensive understanding of what happened today.
In News at 7.
In the News at 7, which will be all predominantly focused on Hurricane Beryl. I'd not like to see another Beryl anytime soon.
Oh, no. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely not. You are seeing there, Nika, how the country is still fully covered.
And it looks beautiful on screen, but I can assure you it's far, but
220 kilometers per hour, and it's still a Category 4 hurricane.
It didn't go any lower.
It has not weakened, and it is moving towards the south of the Cayman Islands, but you know,
still
just
not as
from
close as it came to us.
Exactly. And so we remind you that the number to dial in it's right there on your screen. It's 876
numbers, man.
931 6193. Again, the number to call is 876 931 6193. Call us and tell us what's happening in your area, man, as the hurricane picks up and takes off toward the west of the island.
And if we're going to add a little bit of context, Andrew, just reminding you that the upper limit for a Category 4 hurricane would be around 251 kilometers per hour. And we're seeing it now on what looks like it's more to the middle or lower end of that in the Category 4 zone. So potentially, if it doesn't meet any more favorable conditions out there, it could
weaken.
But I don't know if that's a good thing, because we've seen Beryl in it's mastered the art of
stepping back and going forward.
Yeah, it's very mysterious. It goes back, it comes forth, it goes up, it comes down, and then you're not quite sure, because if this thing were to do a turnaround move, I'm done.
Sort of like the Great Leveler.
I'm done. I'm done. Because what are we going to do with another Gilbert? Where would we go?
Oh, we absolutely cannot manage that.
Let's bind
anytime soon.
Let's just bind
You know, as Jamaicans, we'd say knock on wood.
Knock on, well, I know.
All right. We have a caller on the line. Israel from Fort Lauderdale. Boy, Nika, I tell you, the diaspora is really...
They're ringing in. And we love that. We appreciate that. Welcome, Israel.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Oh, we're pretty good, Israel.
I like when your accent changed fast, Andrew. But yes, we've been doing well. Thank you.
I'm enjoying the coverage. I just want you guys to know that you're doing a great job. From Fort Lauderdale, Florida, but I'm actually from Rocky Point, Clarendon.
Wow.
So I'm trying to call my mom and family there, and I'm not able to get anyone.
Well, send your message to them, Israel. As long as it doesn't reek of expletives and all those things, we're good.
Okay, so my mom, Yvonne Williams, Splendor Heights, Naomi, everybody in Rocky Point, I hope everyone is safe. I know they're saying that Rocky Point is going to get hit, and I'm really worried, but I hope, we hope and pray, like what my father said, that everything is okay, and everyone, no life lost, even if there's anything, we could always rebuild, but I'm open praying that the entire Jamaica, everybody in Kingston, the entire 14 parishes in Jamaica, take it seriously. Stay in. It's no joke.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying the coverage that you guys are doing.
We appreciate you so much. And we really hope that your family and your loved ones and the people out there are safe.
Are okay, yes.
Because you do know that because of the nature of the winds and the heavy rains we've been getting in some parts of the island, we did hear from the telecommunications providers not too long ago that it would be natural to have the transmitters or the antennas shifting a bit in some instances.
Some disconnectivity.
And yes, amount of
But there was a recommendation, Israel, to try sending an SMS, as we heard, I think it was from Elon Parkinson, who suggested sending an SMS if you're not able to get through to them. So Israel, thank you so much for calling, and thank you so much for tuning in, and it sounds like you're really enjoying the coverage as we've been bringing it to you.
Stay safe, and I'm watching. Grumpton Massive, big up.
Yes. Thank you so much. Nika, we have to go to a break.
Apparently.
All right, so stay with us as we keep our eye on Beryl.
Right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of the free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM Plus. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Look who we have in the cut. No, today episode I got nice. Legends, Senator, my longtime brethren, the great, all-star, the king, and the man himself. Salute! You know, as man, we're not to go as specialists, and that's the pinnacle of the problem. We want some new era. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. You lie. You work till a week. It was pandemonium. Country people can relate to me I talk about.
What you think about me no matter, you know. What matter to me is what me think about myself.
Man United, I don't care what man want to say.
You know, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, man. You finished?
Yes, we finished.
The Cut is brought to you by Flo and Guinness.
Hello and welcome back to CVM's coverage of Eye on Beryl. We're still here with you, Nika Lewis, and myself.
You, and we would never.
No, we would never. We're still here, of course, and we're bringing them the very latest and live updates as they are unfolding. This image, we have another caller, Nika.
This one from Florida. Her name is Angie. Hi, Angie. All right, Angie is in transit to us.
She's coming in
booming, and it's increased concern for their loved ones back home. So we're trying again for you, Angie, out there in Florida. Are you with us now?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Angie, welcome home. Welcome back. Who are you most excited to contact here in Jamaica, and what's the situation that had you troubled?
Well, my brother is still there, and my adopted mom, she's there. So, I mean, I've been touching base, and I've been glued to CVM TV all day.
Thank you.
And I just trying to see what's going on.
So, looking at what we've gone through today, Angie, what's your assessment of where we're at with this storm? Do you think we will escape the worst of Beryl, or maybe later on there's more to come?
I think, and I'm really hoping that we pass the worst.
Yes.
It looks like, to me, it's looking like they're probably almost out of the woods. Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed indeed. But if you wanted to say your shout outs or your greetings and your supportive statements to your friends and loved ones here, you can use this platform to do so, because we're encouraging the caring and sharing aspect of things, the humanitarian side in the crisis.
Go ahead, Angie. Give your shout outs. I know you said your brother is still here.
Yes, and your adoptive mom.
I still have a couple of friends of it here in Trial Heights, Spanish Town. So my brother is in what's the Kingston town? I called him earlier. Hi, Harold. This is Angie. My adopted mom, Miss Jean. She's holding the fort. Big up my friend Lisa. Maxine. Milton.
It's quite a list.
I'm just trying to remember who I know.
Angie, you gave us something to smile about again, but I wonder if you have any experience of your own about hurricane preparation here in Jamaica, and any that stood out for you.
Yeah, I remember. Listen, everybody remembers the good old Gilbert. I was a kid, I was a child, not knowing the danger of what was going on, and I have two funny stories about Gilbert. One, we lived in the worst house in the community. I mean, the worst house. You almost stay outside and look on the inside. And people was coming from all over to look and to tell us how, oh, Gilbert's going to blow your house down and you're going to be homeless and da-da-da, whatever. Guess what? The hurricane came. I saw people's entire roof came off, fell in their yard, and not one piece of material came off our house.
Yes.
And community was in shock.
You were very fortunate, Andrew.
Indeed, because even now, when we looked at some of the videos coming out of St. Lucia, the Soufriere area was severely hit, and what I saw that gripped me was a roof just being torn apart, thrown aside, and I thought,
as though it was
this is a paper
piece of feather.
I don't know. It just lifted it off, metal and all, and just tossed it aside, and then it just continued through the community. I was saying, oh my goodness, this cannot be a joke.
I saw it. I saw some of it. I was watching it, and it's just so heartbreaking, you know, to see what people go through, and people having to build from scratch, starting all over again. It's hard.
It is.
It's hard. And my second funny story is, during Gilbert, like I said, I was a kid, so not knowing my danger, my next door neighbor and I, we were outside, and we climbed. It was a giant tree she had in our yard, and we were on that tree, and the wind was blowing us here and there. And our moms came out and saw us, and they were living like, do you even know your danger? Get in the house.
You know, Angie, I figure if the hurricane didn't damage you, your mom might have. What were you doing out in the storm?
Oh, yeah, she was not playing, because she knew the danger. Like, are you crazy? What are you doing in the tree? So we were just having...
All right, well, thank you so much, Angie, for those fond memories, and we wish you all the best, your loved ones too, here in Jamaica.
And thank you for also like staying tuned to our coverage. I tell you, Nika, we have some of the best viewers and some of the best callers.
We can't tell a lie. I can't, and I know I hold you to account. So
you absolutely can. You can.
But what I know is that from the feedback we've been getting, our viewers are all over the world. Our viewers are excited to hear from other viewers. So it's like a family here at CVM. When you look into the YouTube chat and you see Peter, Paul, and all of them, they have a massive gathering right now going on, I'm sure. And they know each other, even though they might be miles apart and countries apart.
I mean, we're talking
about
each other. Budapest, Hungary.
You see, we went to St. Martin. We had people from Antarctica. Now, tell me where else in the region you're hearing about this sort of support system. So we really appreciate you and the feedback you're giving to us. We couldn't do it by ourselves today, and we continue to do it. Even out west, we know that quite a bit of activity is taking place now. Our correspondents out there have been on the ground. They've been pummeling the streets to ensure we get you the right, accurate information ahead of our 7 p.m. newscast. So we thank you for your viewership. And so
we are standing by, Nika, to get the very latest from the Met Office on what Hurricane Beryl is doing out there. So, we're standing by for that. And as soon as we get a note that has started, of course, as we'll have been doing, we will bring you that coverage. And of course, Nika, we have another caller.
Another one.
Guess from where?
Egypt.
We haven't gotten to the African continent as yet.
Right,
but I'm sure someone's out there listening. But we have another caller from Florida. Caller, can you hear me, Kevin?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
So Kevin, talk to me about, based on what you've seen, your thoughts around the images that you've seen coming out of the coverage that we've been bringing you so far, and your thoughts on that.
I'm just worried about Jamaica. I know it's a big storm, and I know a Category 5, Category 4 comes with a lot of wind. I'm just praying that everybody keeps safe. I just also want to say thanks to CVM for bringing it to the world that we can be here in America and see what's happening. Absolutely. Because not being there and not seeing anything, makes us even worry more. So I'm grateful for the coverage that you guys provide for us to be able to see and understand what's going on the ground.
What were you most interested in hearing and understanding about what's happening here in Jamaica, Kevin?
One of the things that I'm interested in and I see that I appreciate is what the government did in terms of putting in the curfew that, there's nobody on the road during this period. I like the work that they did where they start cleaning the sewers, taking up the garbage, cutting some of the trees. And I respect what the Jamaican people were doing also, that they take it serious this time, where everybody stayed in, everybody got what they needed in terms of supplies from early, so nobody's on the street. So I'm grateful for what everybody's doing.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. And we have to tell you that it's been our pleasure bringing you coverage.
Serving you.
And serving the diaspora and of course, our domestic viewers here at home. People like yourself, Kevin, in the diaspora. It's been our pleasure bringing to you the very latest updates on what's happening with Hurricane Beryl.
And also, one of the things about journalism in times of crisis is the fact that we cannot be harbingers of doom. So we are never going to come here and tell you only what is perilous. We're going to give you facts and you make of it what you must. But we cannot come here and peddle tales just because we want viewership. And so we really appreciate your input. But Kevin, is there anyone in Jamaica you wanted to say hello to? Okay, I understand. Kevin was busy to get back to Florida. But we thank you so much, Kevin, and our audience worldwide. We've had an amazing time. Wait, Kevin came back.
Kevin, you're still there.
Not Beryl come back. Kevin, you can come, but not you, Beryl. All right, Kevin, who you want to say hello to in Jamaica?
I just want to pick up my brother Omar, my father Michael, and all the people from Jamaica Library Service, and just the rest of Jamaica. Just stay safe and big up on yourself.
All right. Thank
That's
you
like
so much,
an
Kevin.
greeting,
Yeah,
Kevin.
big up on yourself.
Big up on yourself.
All right, Kevin. Thank you so much for calling and for tuning in.
All right, no problem.
We appreciate it, man. All right, so we take another break here on CVM's coverage of Eye on Beryl. We'll be right back.
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Bollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays at 12:30 p.m. on your drama station. Brought to you by
Hyundai.
The time by Grace. Taste that moves you is
6:45.
With a perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers and Cooking with Love. And you're tuned in right now on CVM TV. Watch it. We're going to go crazy in the kitchen. Check it out.
Your sister, the man, a big chef, you know.
Boy, I'm a try a little thing when I'm ready, you know.
World Dig.
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure.
All that having a baby now is going to do for you is make you a prisoner of this apartment.
Long run shot,
Royal Palm Estate is on CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m. CVM TV and you are watching Eye on Beryl. I'm Nika Lewis and I'm being joined by
Andrew Lately.
Of course. Next thing Andrew say, I'm inviting him to my show when we are doing it together. So welcome back. We just came out of a segment where we were talking to people in the diaspora about what's happening here in the region and especially in Jamaica regarding the hurricane, category 4 hurricane Beryl. Now, if I've never heard another time a name mentioned as Beryl, I'd be relieved.
It'll be too soon.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
keep the barrels at a minimum after this.
Yeah, you know what, Nika, I have to big up as well, or as I heard you bigging up our correspondents earlier. We have to big up our reporters.
No, I went around and I said we are doing it.
Yes,
we are doing it. So I know they're watching right now, and they keep beaming with pride every time I go into the corridors. They're like, Nika, you have to hurry up and go back on screen, man. Jamaica count for we. And yes, Jamaica and the world is counting on us, and I'm so proud of our young team.
Yes,
I'm so proud of them. So many of them have never been in a hurricane condition
and
or
have
situation.
Done this kind of extensive coverage before. And you know what? They're still working behind the scenes, Jamaica.
Indeed.
They're still working on those stories for you at 7, so you can stay tuned for that at 7, where you'll get a comprehensive understanding of what happened since the start of the day even.
Truly. And we are also expecting some updates in coming minutes from the Principal Director at the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, Mr. Evan Thompson. You know him as a weatherman, and so he's coming to talk a lot more than just that. But just expectations and timelines and what to expect after Beryl, perhaps, because we know there's another system out there in the Eastern Islands.
Yes. Barreling towards us again. It's like we can't catch a break, Nika.
I'd like to breathe hurricanes. If you're out there and you decide that you're going to develop, don't come this way.
If only it
in
worked.
fact, die out there at sea.
If only it worked that way.
You know,
if only
we
it worked
can
that way.
appeal to people who are committing crimes, and we can appeal to the people who are breaking the laws elsewhere and other things. But can we not appeal to a hurricane?
Yeah.
Apparently, Beryl is trying to have like a mercy and hurry up and leave. Just hurry and go, Beryl.
So it's
visibility is getting back.
It's getting dark outside. It's.
But we're seeing way more than we were seeing at least an hour or two ago.
And we're seeing electricity.
Yes, in some sections. I wonder if those are the people with the Delco.
Well, that's a lot of Delcos.
Well, you know what? To be fair, this time around, the advertising around the sort of preparation items and safety gear, etc., was very high tech. I saw people advertising various apparatus to include what do you call those? The bulbs that can. It's like it retains energy
like a smart bulb
upon usage.
Yeah.
Yes. So the longer you use it, you'll have it even longer in the time of outage. So I've seen those, and people have been telling me there have been discounts on some of the things like generators.
Oh, that's amazing. So you're never truly left in the dark.
No, if you're left in the dark, it's because of oblivion, not because you didn't get the opportunity to purchase something out there. It's oblivion because they never checked into CVM TV on time.
Yeah. But Nika, you said it quite correct. The real work starts now.
It does.
We heard the Prime Minister talking about it in his press briefing earlier today, that the real work starts now, and that the scorecard has been taken out.
Yes, it's evaluation time. It's evaluation time. You know, it's whether you get the raise or you lose the job, and all these things are coming into play for the government because, you know, it's after the storm that comes the storm.
Yeah, and that is exactly where we are. Yeah,
of course, we can't end our discussion without telling you to stay tuned for our extended coverage of what happened today in our major news that typically comes up at 7 o'clock. So it's going to be right at the top of this hour, and it's just a few minutes away.
Yeah, we shifted our programming a bit to ensure that we could bring you all-day coverage of wall-to-wall coverage of what's happening out there on the streets across the island, of what's happening with Hurricane Beryl. But our major news at 7 will remain the same at 7 p.m. And we're imploring you to stay tuned for that as we continue to bring you the latest updates and all, you know, the facts surrounding Hurricane Beryl. And of course, we also have the Copa coverage.
Copa quarterfinals tomorrow, happening at 8 p.m. And if you want to stick around for more, we have Meet the Mitchells at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. We now join Mr. Evan Thompson, the Principal Director of the Met Service here in Jamaica. Mr. Thompson, are you with us?
Yes, I am with you. I hope you can hear me.
Clearly.
Loud and clear.
Yes. Now, Mr. Thompson, can you please give us a brief update on what's happening here in Jamaica concerning Hurricane Beryl?
Well, Hurricane Beryl, we've been watching the hurricane move past our southern coastline during the past, say, 8 to 10 hours. The system has been moving from the southeast of the coast across toward the west, continuing along the coastline all the way to the southwest of the island. For the main part, it remained off the coastline, the center of the system. However, for a brief period, the eye didn't actually make landfall, but the band of rainfall around the eye, which is the eye wall, that area basically touched on parts of Clarendon and going into Manchester as the system continued toward the west. So for the most part, we continue to experience heavy rainfall associated with this hurricane over most of our parishes, but primarily over southern parishes. I believe most impacted was southern parishes with the rainfall, but we did also have very strong winds over much of the country. The strongest winds seem to have occurred over southern parishes, and especially in the southwest, where the contact was made with the eye wall from south central to southwestern parishes, from Clarendon, going through Manchester and St. Elizabeth into Westmoreland. Those parishes seem to have been most impacted by the strong winds, but also from some of the storm surge that occurred along the coastline. So there was quite a few areas that reported storm surge along the coastal areas of the south, and 1 or 2 areas in the northeast of the island as well.
So, Mr. Thompson, would you say that we're in the clear now in less than a minute?
No, we were not in the clear. We're still going to be experiencing some heavy rainfall going into this evening and into tonight. And there will be some strong gusty winds still affecting sections of the country as well.
All right.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Evan Thompson, Principal Director, the Met Service here in Jamaica. Thanks again. This has been Eye on Beryl here on CVM TV. We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
Thank you for joining me on the show and for, allowing us to share with the world what was going on.
Absolutamente. We're thanking you all for making it CVM TV all throughout the brunt of the day and the brunt of Beryl. But stick with us, because at 7 o'clock we have Curlin and Stephen with the updates from today's news gathering.
Jamaica's favorite drama, Your Guilty Pleasure.
You listen to me, is it, Reverend Martin? I don't want you to gamble with my life or the lives of our children.
Royal Palm Estate is on CVM every Tuesday and Sunday at 9 p.m.
John Mark! Celine, where you going? We can't say we're a friend now. Celine. We have to take on the road.
Yeah, man, we have to take on the same way. All right, Lord, thank you so much for this day.
Me, I do the work. Yeah. And the people them accept it. Clarendon, Mandeville. But now we get to go into the inner city of Kingston.
I can't wait to learn more as we go across Jamaica into different churches to understand what they do.
Look who we have in the cut. No, today episode I got nice. Legends, Senator, my longtime brethren, the great, all-star, the king, and the man himself. Salute! You know, as man, we're not to go as specialists, and that's the pinnacle of the problem. We want some new era. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. You lie! You work till a week. It was pandemonium. Country people can't relate to me I talk about.
What you think about me no matter, you know. What matter to me is what I think about myself.
Man United, I don't care what man want to say.
You know, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, man. You finished?
Yes, we finished.
The Cut is brought to you by Flo and Guinness.
What's your story? What's your sign? We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
With a perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
Bollywood has never been this good. Catch Made for Each Other weekdays at 12:30 p.m. on your drama station. Brought to you by
Hyundai.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers and Cooking with Love. And you're tuned in right now on CVM TV. Watch it. We're going to go crazy in the kitchen. Check it out.
Yeah, sister, the man a big chef, you know.
Boy, I'm a try a little thing when I'm ready, you know. World Dig.
Start saving for your golden years with a Sagicor Lifestyle Approved Retirement Scheme. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Goes all the way around the outside in the knee on McLaren. Collins got 2 wheels. Contact!
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM Plus.
Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
We gave you Kevin Downs. We gave you Glacier Robinson.
Hold my hand today.
We gave you Lubert Levy.
By force, we are going to take it by force. Yeah.
And now, 10 gospel music warriors vie to determine who will be the 2024 JCDC Jamaica Gospel Star. Sundays in prime time, 8 p.m. on CVM TV, starting July 7th. Our God is bigger than what people say.
What's your story? What's your sign? Who dreamers? Don't care what people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday headlines, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Carolyn Brown. It is a wet Wednesday, this third day of July 2024. Thanks so much for staying with us. Of course, we begin with team coverage on Eye on Beryl. Well, the hurricane warning remains in effect as Hurricane Beryl continues to move close to the southern coastline of Jamaica with the following dangerous effects of a hurricane. Dangerously high water, or a combination of dangerously high water and exceptionally high waves, and average winds of at least 119 kilometers per hour or 74 miles per hour. Now at 4 o'clock, the center of Hurricane Beryl was located near latitude 17.5 degrees north, longitude 77.6 degrees west. This is about 40 kilometers or 25 miles south of Alligator Pond, or 117 kilometers or 72 miles southeast of Negril Point. Beryl is moving toward the west-northwest near 31 kilometers per hour or 20 miles per hour, And this general motion should continue through this evening, followed by a turn more toward the west tonight or Thursday. The center of Hurricane Beryl is expected to continue moving adjacent to the southern coastline of Jamaica before moving away from the island during this evening. Maximum sustained winds have decreased to near 220 kilometers per hour or 140 miles per hour with higher gusts. And Beryl remains a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Some weakening is forecast during the next day or two, and Beryl is forecast to be at or near major hurricane intensity as it moves away from Jamaica and near to the Cayman Islands tonight or early Thursday. Stephen?
Now, hurricane force winds. And we continue. We're gonna.
There's so much to read about Beryl. Let's go to the fact that the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, this afternoon, he gave an update on the number of people being housed in shelters. He said the government will be requesting reports on the treatment of those citizens, as well as reports from the various essential agencies on the damage done.
An update, we have close to 500 persons, 480 almost persons, or 486? 488, almost 500 in shelters. And more shelters are coming on and more persons are going in. So that's your first line of response, to make sure that the people who are in shelters, that they are comfortable and that their needs are met. And I've been advised that ODPEM has enough supplies and provisions to ensure that the persons in shelters are addressed. So the issue now would be to make sure that there is this constant transportation from your central base, or if you have pre-positioned, to those areas in need. My next request for a report will be, how are the persons in shelters being treated? Are their needs being met? Is there a level of comfort that they can, feel safe and satisfied that they're not so discomforted that they want to go back to a worse situation? And that's very important. I would also want to get, and I would say maybe at about 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm seeing the NWA here, a report on the impact on the coastal infrastructure. I'm seeing that we're having serious storm surges. I've seen in St. Thomas, and I'm getting reports in the north, and I expect that we will hear some reports coming out of the southwestern end of the island, in Clarendon on the coast, Portland Bight, Portland Cottage, that area. And that means, of course, that the government will have to mobilize resources very quickly to ensure that if the coastal infrastructure is critical to the road network, that those are repaired very quickly. We also want to get a report on flooding, where flooding has occurred. I have not seen any reports yet on that, but I'd love to hear very quickly where we are in terms of flooding, because then that's another emergency response. Communities that are cut off, lives in danger.
And sections of Jamaica are still being pounded by relentless rains and gusty winds from Hurricane Beryl, which made landfall here in Jamaica early Wednesday morning. But significant effects were not observed until about 10 in the morning in some areas, with other regions experiencing impacts later. Let's get you some field team coverage now of Jamaica's first major hurricane this year with Natalia Clark in St. Thomas. She'll walk us through the day's progression.
St. Thomas is no stranger to severe weather. In fact, it's usually dealt the worst card. Hurricane Beryl is expected to tell a similar tale. However, it's around 7 o'clock Wednesday morning, and so far, very little to report. Residents are, however, staying ready so they don't have to get ready. The Yallas Primary School, which serves as one of the 43 emergency shelters in the parish, or early morning visit, found 11 people already seeking refuge.
But we also get to understand that there are a lot of families out there who want to come to the shelter, but they're experiencing travel difficulties, right? I realized that it is the age groups are varied. It's not just old people. It is young babies, children, elderly, and you have also the middle age.
It's now 10 o'clock in St. Thomas and activity is just picking up. As you can see behind me, waves are crashing into its shores and the day has just begun. If this is indicative of what we can expect throughout the rest of the day, then St. Thomas is indeed in for a beating. Over in Duanipen, it's a scene like no other. Scores of people have been forced to relocate from their homes as their yards and the sea has become one. We still have people making frantic dash to save their appliances and their important documents. We have people here still trying to get their stuff out. We have a family seeking refuge in this truck. Wow, there's water in my water boot. This is deep. This family, you know, truck, this is doing it. This house is completely inundated. But still, some refused to leave their premises.
Not now go wrong right now. We can't swim in it. Yeah. So if the water come off the swim, we can't swim that road.
We were down by the beach and watching it coming. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. The wave is higher than the house right now. Oh my goodness.
Isn't this usual? So we know this is a hurricane, but you've been...
No, you know, it's not usual. This like around like the third time now water coming. Before the waterfront used to be high. The land, they change it and try to bring a beach. They call it Sunset Beach, and ever since then, the water coming in. Because the land was higher than the sea. When I was a kid, I used to go down to the sea. Now, the sea is right there in front of my face.
As we made our way across the parish, we visited Bamboo River, which is another community prone to flooding, but immediately had to retreat. We have a bit of a dangerous situation here in Bamboo River, St. Thomas. It appears power lines are touching each other. This is not safe. This is not safe. Hurricane Beryl's passage through the southeastern parish also resulted in sections of the new highway being battered by waves. In the vicinity of the Roselle Natural Roadside Spring, the sea was spitting up rubbles, slowing the pace of motorists. The Morant Bay Urban Centre, a prime development set to open in September, however, did not seem compromised. The rapidly intensifying weather didn't allow for prolonged observations. It's just afternoon and the team and I must leave St. Thomas right now if we have any intention of getting back to Kingston safely. Sections of the road will be impassable on our journey back. Trees are falling down. The rain is pouring. We absolutely have to go if we want to make it back to Kingston safely. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
And as Hurricane Beryl barrels down, residents in New Haven near Duhaney Park are facing worsening flood conditions. Despite evacuation orders, many have chosen to stay and weather the storm. Ramon Gordon was on the ground earlier today.
Up to news time, some residents in the flood-prone New Haven community decided against evacuation, opting instead to endure the storm at home. Reports reaching our news center indicate that conditions there have since deteriorated, with the residents' worst fears becoming a reality. Speaking with CVM News early Wednesday, residents said they felt it better to stay in and weather the storm.
We can't run and left the house, I probably have to turn your back and left your yard empty. Criminal will go in and take over.
Are you prepared to move if you have to?
No, man, I don't have to move. I'm not go up on my ground that job. So I not really move.
Lendell Henry, a resident of the community since the 1970s, spent the hurricane alone, having lost his wife and refused an invitation to stay with his sister.
Are you concerned?
Not really, I'm going through Gilbert. Not really.
Our eyes up, look at things. You're telling me about the straps that were recently added to your roof.
The straps was recently added.
Tell me a little more about the preparations you did as we endure the rain that's coming.
Come on, the preparations, just buy up things, groceries and stuff, and just say
Oh, all right.
On Wednesday, the National Works Agency continued its cleanup efforts along the sandy gully. However, one of the most polluted sections near the Kingston 20 community appeared to be left untouched.
No, the more don't I but the clean. Them clean in niggle up so and don't come clean.
Them a do the road where with the Chinese. And other things that them would have put a big hole that the water can't just go through. And them not do it, them put back 3 little holes. But them not really care about people down here now.
We'll bring you another update once the worst has passed. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
CVM News at 7 continues with more Beryl after the break.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday headlines, courtesy of Heart NSDA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Need auto insurance? Advantage General puts you in the driver's seat. With Advantage General Online, you've got the green light to request a quote, purchase insurance, submit claims, even pay renewals online. Go from zero to insured in 10 minutes.
All done.
Advantage General, a member of Sagicor Group Jamaica.
Harry, how was school?
It was really good, but I'm really hungry. Can we get some juicy patties?
Sure we can. We never see a boil up patty like you.
Son, you good?
No, Dad, I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating over 40 years of everyday moments.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of
elife.sagicorjamaica.com.
Central Expressions, your best source for business, tourism, and entertainment. Tune in to Central Expressions on CVM TV, Sundays at 3 p.m. Repeat Fridays at 9 a.m. Central Expressions is brought to you by the Gulf View Hotel in the heart of Jamaica, from the hearts of Jamaicans. The Orbin Group, Real Essence Media, National PC Bank, Central Expressions. Your voice, your culture.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of
elife.sagicorjamaica.com.
And we welcome you back with images very close to Broadcast House here. You can see that the wind is still, taking a toll right there. But we'll continue naturally to track eye on Beryl, CVM's way of giving you updates on what's happening. Let's look at what happened in August Town. When we got there, residents were a perfect picture of confidence as the nation braced for the impact of Hurricane Beryl early Wednesday. Now, when our news team visited, residents were optimistic about the storm. Others opted to check in and provide for the most vulnerable. Courtney Lewis was there.
Despite the threat of impending Hurricane Beryl, residents of the August Town area in East Rural St. Andrew are seemingly calm, asserting that if it must be, it must be.
Not really prepare, because you don't know, prior the thing there, you see. Well, for me, if it come, it have to come. Nothing really bother me. Just a praise after it gone, me have look life left.
Meanwhile, one resident, Iselin Adamson, recalled her previous hurricane experiences and opted to help other residents secure supplies amid Hurricane Beryl.
We only have 2 help right now, the 2 hills. If you notice, we're between 2 hills, so that's only our help now. So we are trying to move around those who can make it, move around to help those who can't make it, to make this thing. There's a church over there, that will be a shelter. Because as soon as the rain starts and who cannot make it out there, we take them in the church. Well, I got some clear packages from the MP yesterday, so I'm trying now to give as much to where it can reach, especially to golden ages. Because, they are shut-ins and they can't help themselves.
Nevertheless, some residents made last-minute efforts to secure their roofs and assisted in getting each other to safety.
But I just prepare, buy my little foods, my tin stuff, and a button down for the storm. I buy my flashlights and my little stuff for that already, if in case what light and water gone.
When CVM last interacted with residents, many were calm and confident about weathering the intense rains. Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
And residents in Gordontown are fearing a scenario they've grown all too familiar with: landslides. Jamaica's hillsides were battered today by Beryl's rains, which posed a threat to residents in some areas. Courtney Lewis again navigated that challenge.
While it's business as usual for some, here in Industry Village, residents are worried about rockfalls. Residents are also very concerned about breakaways in the roadway if there is heavy rainfall. As you can see, there is no retaining wall here on Galemount Road here in Industry Village, and at times when it rains heavily, the river right below rises very high.
The main road there, I think it was Sunday, there was a huge landslide. So it was hard to get in and get out, and it took a couple of days to be cleared. Over here, there are a couple of main exits and entrances, but one would be crossing the river or the main entrance, as you can see right there. But that can also be damaged by landslides as well, which would take couple days to be fixed, and it's the main road for vehicles as well, so most vehicles would be either trapped outside or inside, so there wouldn't be any way to exit.
He adds this is not a new concern. Just a few months ago, Gordontown Road and surrounding environs experienced landslides, causing severe damage to property.
We're used to it, as I said, because even the river, it gets higher after every rainfall. It's something that we've grown and seen over the past years, so I guess we're comfortable up here because we know that there won't be very much damage.
Traveling a little further upwards, a similar situation was at play. Sections of this roadway from Gordontown may become impassable. Now, residents of this area are actually fearing that they may not be able to evacuate if the weather gets worse. With the early onset of rainfall, water levels at about ankle level, and fears for landslides and rockfalls, residents say they are aware of their nearest shelters and are seeking to get home quickly. Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
And strong winds and waves crashed into the Hausha Sands in Portmore, St. Catherine, forcing residents out of their houses, and business owners left worried about their shops. Our reporter Trisha Gay Kelly, who has visited that location before, was back again today.
Only a day before the storm, we visited Helsha Beach. Today, on the day of Beryl Hurricane, we're here back at the beach. There are no visitors, no businesses are open. We have seen some residents observing, however, and the sea is rough. Water has already started making its way on land. There are areas that are flooded, and as you'll see in the footage, the water is slowly, well, not even slowly, it's rapidly rather making its way over here. The waves are heavy and it's coming further inland. For residents and business owners at the Helsha Bay Beach in Portmore, St. Catherine, these scenes aren't new. For Liston, an employee at the Helsha Bay Beach, the Beryl hurricane is not as active as he anticipated. But at the same time, this is just the beginning.
You know, we when I see her come up and think, the breeze now blow at the moment right now. You understand? So, you know, further on, what will be. Yeah, sometimes if it come in heavy, it will see us. Like the sea will come over upon the land.
They've been through Hurricanes Dean, Ivan and others. A vendor on the beach explains that each time disaster struck, their buildings fell prey to the dashing waves.
We will live here now. We literally dive a liquor from underneath the sea. That is how devastating a hurricane can be when it comes to Hellshire Beach. So right now we getting a direct hit from a hurricane right now. It is threatening to business, livelihood, because you have people live down here like myself here. Right now I go because me know me been through in a hurricane.
And that knowledge and experience made the decision to evacuate a very easy one for her. Tia says her experience with previous hurricanes have taught her all there is to know.
You don't want to come here after this hurricane if this hurricane decides it about hit Jamaica, you know, you have probably one of them boat the way you see them have over there, so probably one of the boat them have got a row to come out there so come pick up other people, and when you look at the crocodile swim in front of the boat them. We don't have no reef to protect with. Feel like it has to protect with. Like any big wave that come in from outer sea, it could give you a direct hit by Hellshire Beach. So who want to stay here, me know me not stay here.
She fears following this hurricane, there will no longer be a beach when visitors return. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And this just in, Hurricane Beryl may have its first casualty. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces confirming that reports were made of a young man being washed away in a gully in the Collie Smith Drive community sometime after 5 p.m. today. The JCF is reporting that search and rescue efforts were initiated but had to be paused due to nightfall and will reconvene tomorrow.
To be told a storm is coming is nothing Bogwalk residents say they can't withstand. As they explain, they have much experience in that neck of the wood. Our reporter Trisha Gay Kelly visited the gorge today.
At this moment, it's around 6:30 in the morning. I'm here at the entrance to the Bogwalk Gorge in St. Catherine, and as you can see, it's a lot of water entering the gorge. That's not good. Usually when there are natural disasters or even heavy rainfall, there are landslides in the gorge, there's flooding, which has begun, as you can see, and there are trees falling down everywhere. It's a story they know all too well. Residents of Bogwalk, St. Catherine, specifically within the gorge, are not too concerned with Hurricane Beryl. Like any other day, their stock was on display. However, one fisherman, Lloyd, says his catch was not up for sale.
Right now, that's what the rain come down now, you have to take them out, if you don't take them out, they're going to wash away. Yeah man, if the river come down, you're going to wash the top. It's a moss. Like a lag on it and something like that, you know, see it. And you don't eat from the wire and draw them out.
The water is not yet high, but it's getting there. If you look in it, you can see that there's debris coming from rivers or streams that contribute to the Rio Cobre. So it's almost there. There's an entire patch of lily floating, an entire patch that has been drawn from a big piece that's closer to Linstead side. But one resident living by the bridge says she's not necessarily worried about the rising water.
Once it starts coming up, then we know we should stay in. I'm just a bit concerned about the breeze that will be passing over. That's my only concern. The river is just up for a day and then it goes down by the morning. Then they will come and assess the damage on the road, and then we know what's it.
The gates to the gorge are usually closed when the authorities believe it is too dangerous for motorists. Lloyd explains it's like a complete lockdown.
When the rain starts to fall heavy and the river starts coming on, Bagua police call to Spanish Town. And so Bagua that side and Spanish Town like this side.
And who runs through to ensure all the cars are out?
Police. At both ends. And when the gate lock, come through.
The gorge was closed at 12:50 p.m. Wednesday. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And we now go live to our reporter Raheem White, who is somewhat marooned at the Norman Manley International Airport. Raheem, can you tell us what's happening?
And what's the question?
Raheem,
So
are you there?
I'm currently still here at the Norman Manley International Airport. I can confirm that the CEO said there are some minor damages done to the infrastructure. She did say the boarding pier inside the Norman Manley International Airport and some water damages. I did ask when will they resume operations and was told up until a full assessment is done and the damages are repaired. Currently at this time, we have some light winds and light rainfall, but the wind is brushing and lifting the rainfall off the ground. So it's not as severe as it was before. It's not as strong as it was before. So we're here just watching to see. We're waiting to hear more from the CEO.
Has the road been cleared at all, to your knowledge? Raheem, are you still there?
The road is not fully cleared as yet, so I saw some people coming in. I asked the same question. They told me that, you know, they are not seeing clearly, but they can pass. The road is still flooded with water, but they can make it through.
All right, Raheem, safe travels when you leave. We now take a quick break. CVM News at 7 returns right after this.
KFC Cheats a Zinger. Available for a limited time. KFC, it's finger-licking good. The time by KFC is...
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school, and now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less, or 2 or 3, at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
With a perfect win record from the group stage, the heavy Argentine artillery will next roll into Texas. Their next battle, a South American clash with Ecuador. The quarterfinals of the Copa America begins this Thursday on CVM TV. Argentina, Ecuador. See it happen. Live at 8 p.m. on CVM TV. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
John Mark! Celine, where you going? We can't say we're a friend now. Celine. We have to take on the road.
Yeah, man, we have to take on the same way. All right, Lord, thank you so much for this day.
Me, I do the work. Yeah. And the people, them accept it. Clarendon, Mandeville. But now we get to go into the inner city of Kingston.
I can't wait to learn more as we go across Jamaica into different churches to understand what they do.
Welcome back. It was only a matter of time before the Garden Parish of St. Anne started to feel the effects of Hurricane Beryl. And in the early stages, some areas were almost unrecognizable.
The streets in Ocho Rios were transformed into an obstacle course, downed trees, downed billboards and directional signs, and roads reduced to single lane only. Trees were dancing to Beryl's rhythm, dodging the power lines in their way as some branches took off like a frisbee. The pressure from the rainfall has this manhole cover looking like it wants to blow its top. There is uncertainty whether or not this was rainwater or sewage. This in the vicinity of Sandals, Ocho Rios, where the entrance to the resort has been blocked by fallen trees. One street person who was not in a shelter was seen in Ocho Rios trying to find somewhere to hide from the elements. Angela Melville, CVM News.
Now, before Hurricane Beryl and even now during the weather event, concerns were raised by homeless persons regarding their safety during the passage of the expected winds and rains. Despite many utilizing the shelters provided, others still put up resistance. Adrian Williams tells us more in this story.
A whirlwind of concerns are swirling during the passage of Hurricane Beryl, and the homeless have been thrown into the spin. There are a number of homes and night shelters across the country, but are they enough?
Nobody not come in today. 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock now. No, sir. I don't come nobody not feel today, sir. Nobody not come out. Nobody not come out. I tell you the truth, brother. Nobody not come. A hurricane time, brother.
Kingston and St. Andrew Mayor Andrew Swaby and his team did the rounds today, trying to get homeless persons shelter from the weather system. But for some, they say they have not been approached to receive assistance.
I want some food. That's why I'm not going to thief nothing to get myself in no worries. I'm not going to thief nobody nothing. I'm homeless and I try to beg people, decent people like you, the CVM people, and I want to try to start, just get a work. Is even try to wash off car.
So you're going there tonight, but where are you going to be during the hurricane?
I'm going to be up there.
You're going to the Marriott?
Yes, I'm going to the Marriott Kings, yes. And I want to try to give my love to my family down by the countryside, St. Thomas.
At a media briefing today, Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Minister of Local Government Desmond McKenzie met with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, where the matter of homeless persons was addressed.
Well, the KSMAC, I've been in touch with the mayor. We have provided over some 100 cots to the KSMAC to erect this facility on Church Street, and the KSAC have been doing that. And right across the island, I must confess that the municipalities have been extending themselves significantly to house homeless persons, and we have been doing that, and I think it's working out to be a very successful one.
While the options remain open for homeless persons, are the efforts and space enough? Despite the outcome, many will decide to remain content, whether rain or shine. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
CVM News at 7 returns after this break.
Did you know that many of my schoolmates have an unhealthy diet, especially at school, and now 23% of them are overweight and or obese? And so one less sugary drink at my school may mean one friend less, or 2 or 3, at risk of cavities or diabetes. And if we're served less foods high in saturated fats, sugar and sodium, it may reduce our risk from obesity, heart disease and high blood pressure. The solution is simple, right? Act now. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools.
A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Look who we have in the cut. No, today episode I got nice. Legends, Senator, my long-time brethren, the great all-star, the king, and the man himself. Salute! You know, as man, we're not to go as specialists, and that's the pinnacle of the problem. We want some new era. Do what you love and you never work a day in your life. Lie! You work till a week. It was pandemonium. Country people can't relate to me I talk about.
What you think about me no matter, you know. What matter to me is what I think about myself.
Man United, you know. I don't care what man want to say.
You know, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, man. You finished?
Yes, we finished.
The Cut is brought to you by Flow and Guinness.
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM+. Brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks.
internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
We gave you Kevin Downs. We gave you Glacier Robinson.
Hold my hand today.
We gave you Lubert Levy.
By force, we are going to take it by force. Yeah.
And now, 10 gospel music warriors vie to determine who will be the 2024 JCDC Jamaica Gospel Star. Sundays in prime time, 8 p.m. on CVM TV, starting July 7th. Our God is bigger than what people say.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
CVM presents Copa Facts. Uruguay. Regarded amongst the greatest footballing nations of all time, Uruguay has won the Copa America 15 times, being tied with Argentina for the most titles in the tournament's history, winning their most recent title in 2011. Additionally, Uruguay are holders of 4 FIFA-recognized World Championships. Copa America 2024, brought to you by
KFC, J-Ray and Nephew, Courts, Sunshine Snacks.
Welcome back. We want to at this time tap in with the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, to find out how things are going. Good evening, Mayor. Mayor Swaby? Oops. Do we have Mayor Swaby on the line?
Hello?
Thank you so much. Good evening, sir. How are you? Tell us what's happening where you are.
Good. I'm currently at home. But today, in terms of today, I had 37 shelters with 279 persons have been in the shelters, and that was up to 6 o'clock this day. There are roads that have been blocked on the roof. Some of the people that their roofs, especially Stony Hill areas that have left, who have gone. I'm told also that the Manley Airport, that there's a roof left there. And we person do not know about the experience at Portmore. And thank God I'm not getting a bad report for Portmore. They are okay. So that's basically tomorrow I will meet IT. I will do. But I said, based on what we heard, the reporter will come in. They will go out to do it.
May I know you've had a long day, but I must ask you, have you heard of anyone being marooned, any families anywhere at all?
I have not, but that our company has not reported that.
Well, you know, we're still getting rain. The wind is still out there making its impact. What do you want to say to the people at this time?
I just want to say to persons, they should stay in and be safe and safe. If you feel that you're left, you need to go to help or go to shelters. We have 100 shelters right from St. Andrew. We have did all shelters on our website, our social media platform. So that's the first.
I'm sorry, Mayor, we're not hearing you very clearly. We heard of someone being swept away in a gully. Have you had any update on that?
The report was that playing football and the ball apart the gully front person who after the has been watched. That's the from that mindset.
We do apologize because I can honestly tell you we're not hearing you very clearly. But thank you so much for joining us. We go to another break, but we'll be right back.
I'm Celine Gordon, host of Holy Road.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy John Mark Wigan, host on the show Holy Road. Listen, people need to know what's happening in the churches and in ministry in all of Jamaica. It's an absolute blessing. We're really excited to share this.
Tune in to CVM, see it happen.
Yummy bulla full of flavor. Everybody love the new coconut bulla ox them. All round good vibes.
The time my yummy is
7:45.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers and Cooking with Love. And you're tuned in right now on CVM TV. Watch it. We're going to go crazy in the kitchen. Check it out.
Yeah, sister, the man a big chef, you know.
Boy, I'm a try a little thing when I'm ready, you know.
Worldly.
Our days get a little complex sometimes. Often so many things make sense, yet so many do not. We are being intentional about giving prominence to the big stories in order to clarify and enlighten. Lead Story explains who, what, when, where, why, and how. Lead Story with George Davis, weekdays at 6:30 p.m. on CVM TV.
I love football, but I don't just play for me. I do it for Jamaica and for the fans on the journey with us. The ones who live for every shot and cheer every goal. The ones who know that performing on the big stage means big effort with big support. And of course, chicken with big flavor.
KFC's big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries, and a drink. The perfect fan fuel for cheering on or history-making reggae girls. KFC, proud sponsors of Khadija Shaw and the Reggae Girls.
Having progressed from a tough Group A, Canada will aim to defy the odds and progress to the Final Four of the Copa America, standing in their way of the free-flowing Venezuelans hitting top form at the perfect time. A clash worth going miles to see. Canada, Venezuela in quarter-final action from the Copa America, live Friday at 8 p.m. on CVM+. Brought to you by
KFC, J. Ray and Nephew, Quartz, Sunshine Snacks. Fitness, brought to you by Your Plate and Nature Valley.
Goes all the way around the outside in the Neon McLaren. Collins on 2 wheels, contact!
We now take you to an update from the Prime Minister of Jamaica earlier today at the National Emergency Operations Center.
Thank you, Richard, for the update. Again, let me repeat my earlier sentiments that I wish to express my gratitude to the team here at the National Operations Command Center. You have made that sacrifice to be here, to be at the helm of Jamaica's disaster coordination. And on behalf of Jamaican people, we say thank you. You have done so far an excellent job. Let me start by saying that, we don't have all the resources that we want. We don't have all the tech that we would want. But the truth is that we have a very good institution in ODPEM. We have good knowledge. We have good experience. Our officers and personnel are well trained and indeed are world class. So whatever shortage in resources we may have, we compensate in our technical capacities and in our commitment, and we make the best of what we have. And that's what we have on display here. Suffice to say that the government, in its strategy to mainstream resilience as a part of a line of function of the government, we are investing in ODPEM, we are investing in our ability to stand up communications, even in disaster. We are investing in our security forces, we are investing in radars, we are investing in our boats, we are investing in our air surveillance and other investments, which will increase Jamaica's ability to respond to crisis and recover quickly. So eventually, I think within another 5 to 6 years, we will be at a point where we will have all the latest technology that will help us to be able to truly cover the island, truly get instant updates, and be able to respond quickly. So it is a work in progress, but you would get a very high grade in terms of how I see you have performed, and I'm certain how the rest of Jamaica would see that you have performed. The real test is going to come, however, when the hurricane has passed, and the public is going to be judging us on the speed of the response. So we've done so far very well on the informationalization of the public. We started very early. We gave the public information. We pointed them in the direction of legitimate, accurate information, official information. All the channels were open. So there's no one who could say they were not aware or they didn't know. Everyone understands and knows. Maybe the expectation was maybe a little bit higher than what we're seeing happening, but that is the best way to get people to be prepared. And I think on that score, we should be judged fairly well. The issue now is how do we respond? And the ability to respond will depend on just what you have just done here, which is to give an update. We have close to 500 persons, 480 almost persons, or 486? 488. 488, almost 500 in shelters. And more shelters are coming on and more persons are going in. So that's your first line of response, to make sure that the people who are in shelters, that they are comfortable and that their needs are met. And I've been advised that ODPEM has enough supplies and provisions to ensure that the persons in shelters are addressed. So the issue now would be to make sure that there is this constant transportation from your central base, or if you have pre-positioned, to those areas in need.
And we have the Director General of ODPEM online to give us an update also. Good evening, Mr. Thompson.
Good evening to you, Karen, and to your viewers.
Thank you so much. What can you share with us at this time?
Well, I think you probably would have heard some of the Met Office report coming from Evan Thompson, that the center of the system is moving away from the island, now at the western end of the island, but however, we'll still be having rainfall activities continue across the island, especially for the southern parishes, and we will still see some strong wind gusts in the southwestern and south central parishes of the island, especially like Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland, given where the system is moving now. And what the Met is saying as well, coming out of the NEOC, is that the period of heavy rainfall going into tomorrow as well. So those are some of the things that have been happening from the meteorological side. On the shelter side, we have to date 954 persons in shelters across the country. Shelters were activated the day before yesterday. A person started going into the shelters yesterday. And that has been good. Some areas that you would not find persons moving into shelters, they did so. And we have to commend persons for that, for heeding the warning, given the kind of system that we saw coming towards us. We have had some incidents that is unfortunate. We have a report of a young lady that out in Hanover that lost.
Mr. We didn't quite get that information. Can you tell us that again, please, if you're hearing us? Are you hearing me clearly, though, sir?
Yeah.
Right. Tell us.
I mean, I think we were having some internet challenge here.
Right. So tell us what happened with that lady in Hanover. Where in Hanover, first of all? We're definite. I can tell you.
In Green Island. Green Island up in Hanover.
Right. So what happened? What happened?
So a tree came down into her house, and it was unfortunate. She lost her life. So what we at the ODFEM and at the National Emergency Operations Center is just extending condolences to the family of that lady. You know, one life loss is always one too many, and this is something that we did not want to have with the passage of this system. We also have a report of a young man that fell into the gully down by Polysmith Drive side down in Trenchtown. The police is still conducting that investigation. That has not been confirmed in terms of and they're still conducting their investigation in terms of trying to find or recover that person. We have had reports as well for a number of block roads across the island. We normally have that whenever time we're having rainfall activities. The National Works Agency had done a lot of pre-positioning. So I think going into tomorrow when the all clear is given, we'll now do those assessments and try to clear those corridors. We had another incident as well as it relates to down trees in land lease in Papine, where one family was rescued by the community persons when a tree fell into their house, and another 9 persons were rescued by the fire brigade. The fire brigade actually went into the area to rescue the first group, but when they got there, that group was already rescued by the community persons, and while they were there, they got a report of another down tree in a house. A section of one of the wards at the Bellevue Hospital went in terms of the roof going, and so they had to transfer the patient there to another ward. Good things for that, there was no report of anyone being injured or anything major in that situation.
Just before you go, Mr. Thompson, any reports of any incidents at any of our shelters?
Well, in terms of we had a situation out in Harbour where one of the shelter there lost is the part of the roof, and so they had to move persons to another location at that shelter. And there was a situation out in Portland Cottage as well where the roof on that shelter went, and those persons there were moved to another shelter. So outside of that, in terms of incident, no. What has historically for us, which is a good thing, we hardly have had any reports of incidents in our shelters, and that is a good thing for us, and we continue to work to keep it that way, training our shelter managers, equipping them with the skills to those kind of people skills to manage situation like like persons in shelter in a very stressful time. It is very difficult to manage people. A large number of persons in stressful times, and I have to commend our shelter managers for doing a very good job in that regard, and also commend our security forces for being a part of the process and because they continue to do these periodic checks into our shelters and to ensure that the citizens that go into the shelters are safe.
And we join you in extending thanks also to you and your team. Just before you go, remind us, how long will we get more rainfall, at least?
Yeah, we'll be getting rainfall going into tomorrow. And so the Met Office will continue to update the country in that regard. And that's their role as it relates to our overall operation. They will continue to update the country in that regard. But we're still saying to persons, continue to implement the precautionary measures that they have been implemented from the start of this whole planning and preparedness operation until the all clear is given.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Richard Thompson. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And that's all the time we have for, and Stephen has come over to do his usual. Go ahead, Stephen, take it away.
That is all the time we have for CVM News at 7 this evening. Thank you so much. Stay dry.
Of course, you must stay dry. Thanks again. I'm Carolyn Brown. Good night.
CVM News at 7 Wednesday, courtesy of
elife.sagicorjamaica.com.
I'm the first in my generation to have a piece of property for myself. I will encourage people to throw their NHD and get their reward.
The time by National Housing Trust is 8 o'clock.